beat AG.AL. It's just what is at stake and what has already happened just last year in the run AG.AL is currently on. ZQ came back from retirement 8 months before EWC announced CROSSFIRE was there. He's now back to this stage where it all began, where AG.AL started cementing their dynasty, at least conversation. But for BaiSha, they want to shut that down. Two Titans face off. This has big implications. What key is going to be crushed? Will it be BaiSha? Will it be AG.AL? This is the one that chat wanted, and this is the matchup they get. Let's head into map number 1. New compound. AG.AL versus BaiSha with Valdez and Laz.
Thank you very much, guys. We're getting ready for map number 1. We're back on new compound. BaiSha just played this against Falcons, and they took them down in a 10-8. It was close at the end, but BaiSha were leading for a long time. So they pick it again up against AG.AL, and we'll have to see how it goes. How are you feeling, Laz, about this matchup?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Look, I mean, there's been so much talk about this and everything at stake. And I mean, again, you have the two heaviest hitters that are going head-to-head now. And I mean, it feels like a grand final, but this is only quarterfinals. And that's the exciting part of this all, right? And a lot of history, a lot at stake here. We have been able to see BaiSha have been able to beat this team on this map. But again, that's, what, like a year ago? So, like, things are different. And it does kind of beg the question for me of how AG are going to be feeling, where they've been kind of sitting around all day, where BaiSha, they've been active.
Yeah, I mean, the desk definitely gave their opinions on who they think is going to win this one. And we will as well in just a moment, as that need not great from Dre, but now they are going to be pushing in. DOO is good on the first kill to stop this push. It looks like an A swarm at the moment, but not overcommitting to it. They have a guy in spawn right now who is actually Xiao, who is pushed all the way up and is going into the window, gets that kill on a DOO, and they're like, wait, how did he get up there? The push comes in, and this is looking good for BaiSha on the start. As ZQ gets taken down, it's all up to 1-2-2, as he has to make his way in on the 1v2. And I thought he got the spot on that member there in the corner. Looks like not. Or perhaps is going to save that for later, as the bomb has not been planted just yet. So he's going to wait until that does get planted and try to go for the quick retake.
Oh, this is smart. I was thinking actually he was going to be able to go for that fight on the left-hand side. I thought he was going to just try to contest it since that guy was planting. So instead, he doesn't. And now he's actually going to go for the swing. That's going to be a triple kill round for him too. So not bad at all here. So BaiSha, I don't know if they can hear it through our mics, but man, they are loud. They are very excited, and rightfully so. I mean, like you said, the desk has been able to just capitalize again. So much history. AG kind of on this, path of, arguably being the best team in the world or one of the greatest teams of all time. And I mean, BaiSha, they want to create a bit of a statement and, kind of remove that piece of the conversation.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, regional rivals, in a sense, they keep butting heads on so many different stages, not just in the CFPL, but also internationally. So once again, they do have to go head-to-head. And, I think BaiSha should come out stronger to begin with. It's their choice of new compound. I think they are definitely going to be warmer than AG. But for me, I do think AG are the favorites. And I think they will take it in what should be a close best of 3. I think it should go the distance of 3 maps. I would be very surprised if this ends up as a 2-0. But again, we'll have to come down to how it's actually played out. And you do see that BaiSha is playing this very much like they did up against Falcons, at least to begin with, taking their time with some of these earlier rounds. Obviously, we didn't see a push like that on the A when they were playing against Falcons, so that's already been a mix-up in round number 1.
I still can't believe this is a quarterfinal game. Like, I'm still just like baffled. I saw the groups and everything happening. I'm like, man, this is legitimately a grand final. Like, we talk, like you said, a lot about these two teams. Like, they play each other so many different times in their region, but now they're here, the international stage once again, going head to head, and it's just, again, so much riding on this. But good kills coming in from AG, and look at that. Quick and easy, done and dusted, and they respawn back in great AG fashion.
Yeah, it looks like they were very ready for that B push. I'm not sure if they had information on it coming in, as it was pretty nicely hid by the side of BaiSha. And the hit was pretty good from BaiSha, too. They came in from main and also from mid at the same time. Like, the timing was great. And yet still just 3 guys in servers. Well, it looks like 2 guys down in the servers, and then 1 was up and doing a good job of saving them and having their back. So, yeah, good stuff to start off here from AG on the Global Risk side in round number 2.
Very interesting to see this map being the first one too. I think there was a lot of good conversation about the vetoes and everything like that. So it was a little bit surprising to me. I don't know how you felt about it, but it did seem like it wasn't like completely ridiculous. But I also kind of felt like some of the maps were going a little bit differently than I thought they would have in the order, if that makes any sense. So
yeah. I think maybe I would not have predicted exactly for it to come out this way, but after I see it play out fully, I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. You know, like we can make sense of what the picks end up being. So again, I don't think I would have predicted it perfectly, but BaiSha go back to new compound. You know, it worked for them. Kind of a confusing position there for 162. He gets isolated and cut off by smoke, and he tries to retreat into the smoke, but I think that's the exact timing where they're going to peek you. So maybe should have just held the corner and tried to hold it down from that position. Instead, he just takes a death at the moment, and BaiSha are going to rotate out and go elsewhere.
yeah, I don't even mind this too. Again, you still have plenty of time. You can work with this. I mean, the one smoke does block things off a little bit of mid, but they could easily cross through. So they're going to actually just, again, avoid it. Now they're just going to try to put pressure onto the vet here of ZQ. He's able to find himself a really great shot. I mean, if he can find any more, that's going to be even more magnificent, and it is. Okay, hang on. So now, I mean, he's still alive here with 52 HP. He's just burning the time, and these guys are just running into a bit of a blender, and they finally get him down. But now it's all just down to one remaining player here, and it's a 1v2. But you have 25 seconds. You have to get a move on. Good kill. Not a peep coming out of DOO yet. Oh my gosh, he's going to jump right over him. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, what a beautiful way for that to happen. Even he's probably like, wait, why is he there? Like, what's he doing?
That was crazy. Dio was just like, yeah, no, I don't exist. You don't know where I am. I'm going to hide and blend into the wall. And it does work out. So Xiao, he's been super clutch. He's been just great across all portions of the rounds and the maps and stuff. He has been the MVP, the star player of this BaiSha lineup, as he generally is. And, you know, not able to quite pull it off there at the very end, but made it interesting. Really started off with ZQ, who you did a little voiceover for him and his content video, and how, you know, he is considered to be one of the greatest of all time. Made his retirement and then made his comeback. And, you know, he's right back into the action. He's certainly doing a great job of holding it down in that moment. And this time it's actually a bit of a stack for its B main, as they're going to try to swing this. This is not looking good for AG.
Oh, no.
And ZQ, now he's being swarmed as they come in from both angles. And the attack is good from BaiSha.
Yeah, that's really great because, again, it's not even just, one player, it's 3. So the fact that I was actually kind of wondering, for, I think it was ZQ that went down the last, I was wondering if he was just going to try to hug that railing and just, wait to see if he might be able to time somebody. But I think he thought they knew he was there, so he's like, hey, I got to go for a swing. I got to try something. But really nice from BaiSha. A very clean round already. This is a powerful position to be in right now. I mean, now you're talking about Jouet and also DOO to put up a massive amount of lifting here. Let alone we already know this is going to be a tough match, but you're talking a 2-on-5, so he's going to have to be lights out. Not going to happen. The lights actually go out on the side here for AG, so we're right back into this, and I honestly feel like this is probably going to this game is going to go back this way. It's just going to go back and forth because these guys know how each other play, and that's where we talk about these teams that play regionally against each other all the time. It's like you kind of know the tendencies. You start to know these things, but you have to find these split moments of just capitalization, really.
Yeah, it's not easy for either team to win in this situation. I do like how AG, they appeared to be, pretty much on the ball right from the get-go. We're not really seeing any sluggishness right from the start of the match. They come in and they're fresh, as our desk was talking about. But, yeah, they get right into the action. They look like they're ready to play right from the get-go. Whereas BaiSha, they did have to play that match earlier, and they did win it, but now immediately have to play once again as the first match, so they stay warm. As now DO on the back of the site just gets tapped out by 577, and that's going to be Xiao as well, who does push in, and the push into the Spawn actually works out really well here for YDSS as well. He takes out ZY.
Yeah, and this is now the second time we've seen that BaiSha have actually been able to have, like, essentially all 5 players alive. They have, you know, a really strong position in terms of the numbers, and then you're putting, again, a clutch factor here for AG. So this has been really great. Like, their BL side is... This is a good presentation of it because it just seems like it's very efficient, very clean, no mistakes that they're making. Like, you're winning these rounds confidently, right? Like, we know the score line is a 2-2, but, like, the fact that now we're going to be having a conversation about 2 rounds in a row here for BaiSha, like the fact that they're winning it just the way they are and, like, AG haven't been able to really respond, it paints a different picture for me.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think that, you know, I was just casting the match between BaiSha and Falcons. We just saw this map. And to me, BaiSha are playing a totally different Blacklist. Like,
yeah.
They did a really good job of hiding what they wanted to play on this map because a bunch of times now we've seen fast aggression into the A site without much delay. You know, take over mid and just essentially go straight into A. And generally, the A site on this map, it can be held down by just a sniper and maybe like a wild card guy if you do want to lean towards the B side, the B site rather. And you know, generally that works out for a lot of teams, but if BaiSha are going to put this much pressure on, then they have to mix it up. And you see that Dway has pushed out here into A main. They're still going to keep 3 guys on B, which generally is a scarier site to retake, so it kind of makes sense that you want to hold that down.
Yeah, and this is now where we've actually seen, again, just a player from AG just kind of pushing all the way through long, too, so playing very aggressive as well. So this has been a few times I've seen in a row. And then you kind of just having DOO just to kind of anchor again just for the crossover. And then you just put that heavy lean on B, which, again, I think we talked a lot about that yesterday, right, for some of the teams that are playing on this map where B can be very difficult. So I like the fact that AG are putting a lot of focus on this, realizing, look, like, let's just put our heavier amount of players onto this, like, to make sure that, like, that equation is going to be removed here for BaiSha's game plan, if possible. But now, Dway's going to have to pull up something big because, again, he has 2 players that are looking for this fight. He's got a close quarter a little bit on this, a decent gun for it, but, again, this is going to be tough. He has to be able to land this first duel. That could, like, really solidify him, but no, my goodness, N9, what an entry!
Yeah, just making a little bit of noise in mid, and then N9 sits him down. Not really having much trouble with that. As now they're pushing in, they isolate DO, and he is just gone. And just like that, BaiSha, excellent execute into the A site once again. They push in, they pressure the guys in spawn, immediately rotate to A after winning in A main with N9. And wow, they're just fluid, they're fast, they're getting it done so quickly. I think that BaiSha really have brought out a new gear here for AG. And wanted to do trying to get it done, but ZY also is going to hit the floor. And N9 with a lot of screams now as things are looking fantastic for BaiSha.
Yeah, honestly, I just feel like it's a great point you bring up, too, is just considering that we saw BaiSha playing, you know, Team Falcons and everything, and it's looking like a very different team, right? And this is the thing that's always been excited for me as, like, watching BaiSha gaming, like, at all these international events, is just how much their BL side can just get better and better, and it elevates, it feels like. I feel like when N9 gets himself some time just to kind of, like, have a conversation with the guys, and he's like, okay, this is the game plan. And, like, you can just see, like, sheets on sheets of things that he's written down, and you're just like, man, like, how much information do you have? And, like, I feel like he's just one of those guys that's, like, sitting in the lab, he's just putting in the late hours, like, he's just trying to find every single little, like, minute detail of, like, what his opponents can do, just so that he can win, you know, any sort of advantage in these rounds. And I mean, you even saw it there where he had a pretty good feeling. He's like, hey, there's going to be a player behind this box. I'm just going to go for the quick pre-fire, and it was easy, right? I mean, it was just like he didn't even break a sweat on it. I thought he was dead, but no. Again, he just kind of proves again why he's, to me, one of the great IGLs in my opinion so far at CROSSFIRE.
Yeah, he is. He's just heads above many a player, and it's hard to compete with him, especially when, you know, you get into such a critical match where there should be a lot of pressure. We have so many veterans on the stage. N9 is one of them, and it's hard to compete with that, like I said before, as coach here is really getting to work on pretty much everyone. As, you know, he didn't know exactly where Dway would be, but he does pick the correct spot AG.AL has been having a really rough time of it. Not necessarily his fault. It just feels like they're specifically isolating him and trying to charge into where he's trying to set up a turret. And it has not been fun times as a sniper player dealing with all of this aggression, as he is just back there in the same spot on the A site, but now he's got another player as ZQ has moved over here to the door of A in the middle of the map. We'll see if that extra bit of defense helps out.
Yeah, and you know, it was always an interesting conversation where, again, like our team that's been sitting around all day, like if that's a good thing or a bad thing, it does beg the question. But like you said, it feels like AG don't even look like they're really like, you know, asleep at the wheel. It seems like they are still prepared. I know the scoreline is kind of escaping from them slowly, but I can't take anything away from BaiSha. Like, I think there's a huge difference. If you watched the last game in the lower bracket semis for them to get here, like it is a very different bit of a tale. And look at this, they're just winning fights. So now, I mean, DOO is going to have to do something big here. He's got himself ready for the snipe, but now he's been spotted, and 577 looks like he wants to go for this bit of a flick, but no, he can't. But look at this. This is just awkward. I mean, again, just some engagements back and forth, but I don't even get it right now, and they're just still even contesting. Joue's going to have to do something big with a pistol, and he will be successful.
Yeah, it's nicely done to clear out. Very awkward spot, as you're kind of talking about. Xiao not able to get it done. ZY does the chip into the pistol hit, and it looks like they were much more ready for that push once again. I mean, if BaiSha continuously goes for setup and mid into, you know, these A pushes or otherwise, you know, ZQ able to play point man and mid and get that pick off and back away safely means that it's totally going to change the flow of the round. And I do like this the change up that they go for here after the timeout was called. And now it's really, the onus is on BaiSha to make a change. And we'll see what they go for. For now, it looks like some pillars pressure. A little bit different from some of the rounds where they've won recently, but we have seen some of this before.
Yeah. And let's not forget, this is where, you know, AG, they were the ones that did the three-player stack right in this area, right? So this is where they're actually going to play a little bit differently, a little bit more passive on this one, but 577 is just clearing a ton of information already. Double swinging to come through on that B door. But it is going to be ZY being able to find that. But look at that, man. Just, again, blink of a second, and there it is. Double kill for them. Now they just pounce into the site. AG have to go for full retake onto this. I don't know. This is going to be tough. Again, you do have a little bit of utility available. Joueta is fully equipped, so that's going to be a good thing. But they have to find the right placements to this nade work. Otherwise, I just don't see them getting in.
Yeah, this is not an easy spot here for AG on the retake. The flash is good. It's going to push Xiao off the point. Do they actually get into that corner? Yes, they do, but Xiao's still going to take down DOO, and I think that's Ray and ZQ. They don't want to have anywhere to run to, so eventually Xiao takes down 2, and there's only ZQ left. There's really just not that much time, though, to try to go for the defuse, and you can see that N9's he's just dancing. He doesn't even need to get the kill, but he will anyway, as ZQ frustrated with the position. And yeah, that was really nicely played, actually, by the side of BaiSha on that entry there, because the way it was played on the defense was ZY was going to peek first. He gets the snipe, and then, of course, they have to peek ZY, right? But the second they peek ZY, 1-2-2 swings the corner on the off angle, but N9 was ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, right as 577 peeked ZY, N9 was peeking 1-2-2, and he was ready the second he swung out and took him down. So it ended up being a 2-for-1, and you know, from there, the B site was essentially free.
And that's just the thing. Like, I mean, I love that AG have been trying to be a little bit creative where they've done the three-player stacks, and then they tried to just do that little bit of a nice crossfire together. But like you said, as soon as 1-2-2-2 just kind of went for that swing and he was gone, it was like, okay, that's all she wrote. Like, it kind of felt like everything was done. It was, the tale was already kind of written and everything in the stone, so it was not going to be easy. But now BaiSha, they're just going to push on through A main. They're just going to try to see if they can barrel this down. But DOO does find himself that kill. But now Jouet is going to get a little bit overwhelmed by the numbers, and DOO, again, his head is going to get removed. And now for BaiSha, it is back to a 3-3. C4 is going to go down, so this is still an opportunity for AG.
Yeah, it's not going to be too easy, but at least, you know, it's better than some of the other rounds we've seen, absolutely. And you see with the bomb planted already, they're struggling to get in and get in on time. As we have the wraparound actually in mid, N9 is behind them. They have no idea. He just taps on the 2 heads. It's just free. They're just not ready for it, and N9 is just outthinking the enemies, and BaiSha are rolling them.
Oh man, that camera view is perfect. You could just see the look on his face. He's like, what just happened? Like, how on earth did that even occur? So, I don't know. I feel like BaiSha are doing a great job. I mean, now we're going to be able to switch sides, but that was a magnificent BL side, right? Very tactical, just clean, precise. N9 just, again, like I keep pumping up his tires, but there's a reason. The guy, again, arguably one of the best IGLs. Like, he just proves that he can frag out, he can call the right game, and he gets himself in the right, positions that he needs to for his team.
Yeah, he's really been the difference maker for so many a squad. And for this BaiSha side, as now it's AG's turn on the blacklist. It's definitely, this is always the opportunity, the moment where it's like, okay, you get to swap after the half, and now AG can maybe say, okay, we're going to do better here on the blacklist side. Let's show what we have prepared. Generally, it is the blacklist team that, controls the flow of the play and the pace. And so far, it's been all BaiSha's control. Like, AG have been responding, and they've won some rounds, but even the ones they win, I'm like, I don't know. It was still BaiSha that were really controlling the majority of it. So it feels very one-sided.
It does.
And it is, based on the scoreline, especially on this map. But, yeah, let's see if AG have something in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, a 6-3 going into the second half is great. I mean, again, that's where we were talking a lot about the BL side was just so strong from BaiSha. So now the question is, do you kind of build off that momentum into the GR side? I mean, that's the biggest question. AG, though, again, this is where they're going to have to showcase something big, and the strat calling's going to have to be good, which way does get the opener. But, okay, look at that. They don't even clear this corner, and now this should be easy, fruitful picking. But hang on. 1-2-2-2 is still able to find himself this double kill. So all of a sudden, that advantage which was there now turns into just back to a 1v1. I don't even understand. And it's just the snipers, and it's DOO to put the nail to the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, somehow they were able to win the fights against everybody else that wasn't N9, and then N9 was alone, and he's like, guys, I just flanked two of them, like, they didn't clear me out. And eventually he went down, and it kind of led to this awkward 2v2 situation where 577 and Xiao had to retake quickly before the plant. It was the right call, but unfortunately not able to win the 1v1 was Xiao. So a little bit of life into the side of AG. Hasn't been all good feels here on this map, but rounds like that can instantly turn the tides and the momentum and the whole vibe of it. So let's see if they can continue with this pressure. As we have ZY also grabbing a sniper here from the blacklist side. Pretty interesting. Well, we'll see if it works out for them, as they do seem to want to poke their heads into the middle of the map.
Yeah, a lot of nades are going to get thrown as well from BaiSha, so they're going to try to get that deep smoke, but it actually will be ZY that's going to be able to find that opener. So double snipers here for AG's side. DOO not going to be the sole one anymore. And now for BaiSha, it's like, again, do you want to react to this, or do you want to just kind of stay put? And it does seem like they're not going to move too much of a muscle here. And I don't even necessarily disagree with this. I mean, again, you have the flow of AG.AL just kind of, again, playing in GR spawn. You can easily rotate A or B, and then you're just doubling up in the B. So I do like this. But again, it is a little bit risky if you want to argue for 577, but AGG not really putting a lot of attention into this yet. This could be the misread potentially.
Yeah, they do have this three-man contingency coming forward first. A couple of guys, it looks like 577 did peek in a mid. As nades are being thrown on the minimap as we speak. We do have this fight. He actually pushed through the smoke behind them. They actually don't know that 577 is behind them. They're about to be sandwiched, as that's a free kill, and that's two. And now BaiSha are like, all right, well, the rest of them are coming in for main, obviously. 1-2-2 gets in, and actually they sweep the site. Very, very nicely done. As Leah's alone here on the back of the site, they're going to take him down, and somehow AG, it was disastrous until they just outfought them.
I don't even understand that. Like, I was thinking, again, like, BaiSha were in the best position. You had a huge flank, and then I was thinking, okay, this is a bit of a, BaiSha sandwich. And I mean, AG were just going to get, ripped apart, but they just pull up this bit of a clutch factor. They just win a lot of duels. And now that lead, it is diminished. Like, we were talking, a 6-3 is turned into the 6-5. So now AG are still well within the grasp here to be in this game. And BaiSha, I mean, again, still a very strong GR side. Like, they're making it close. They're making these rounds competitive, but they just can't seem to get across the finish line. It's AG that just seem to kind of pull the rug under them, and then they just do something, you know, just kind of random, if it honestly feels like that, and react to a situation that you think most teams wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. And it's really important for AG.AL that they get these first 2 rounds quickly. BaiSha, they got so far ahead of Falcons, it was like 9-4, and we almost had a big comeback. But it's just so much difficult. There's way too much pressure to actually make comebacks like that happen consistently. So better to just, you know, get into the game, start winning some rounds right from the get-go, prove that you've got some good calls for the beginning of your blacklist side. But let's see if BaiSha downloaded them a little bit and has a bit of information about how to handle AG's blacklist pushes from here. It's been a lot more B pressure. This is kind of what we would normally expect. And it has been working last couple of rounds. Certainly taking their time with this one, though.
Yeah, we're down to the last minute. So AG going to have to kind of work with something here a little bit. Again, throwing a little bit of nades, just throwing a good pop here for ZQ to just clear off into long, just making sure he can get some information, get some, you know, control of the map, which is not too bad. So AG are being somewhat active. Now he can pull back a little bit. But this is where now for YDSS, he's going to have to do something big. He's got the rifle, but he's actually just going to get on out of there. Good flash, and now look at these shots from N9. My goodness, just tapping away. Good marksmanship here from the side of BaiSha. And now they're just picking them all apart. They're just getting picked up like a bag of leaves. And now it's just down to DOO by himself for the clutch. Finds himself another kill, though. But again, he's taking a significant amount of damage. But you're talking about a massive clutch he's needed here. He's going to have to pick the C4 up. He's only got 10 seconds to work with. And now YDSS is just kind of playing with his food. And BaiSha will be able to keep a lead.
Yeah, that looked a lot better for the side of BaiSha. They read the pressure very nicely. I like the way that YDSS played it, where he's playing point, sees a couple of guys come right through the door, throws a flash, and allows his teammate actually to get a bunch of the kills behind him, and for him to just get a little bit of protection behind the servers and wait for the rest of the teammates to come over. So that's a good way to handle some of that quick B pressure that we oftentimes do see, especially from AG.AL in this case. As once again, AG.AL just hanging around the middle of the map. For the side of BaiSha, it does look a little bit like, you know, what we've seen in the last round, where they have that 1 point guy looking through the doors on B main, throwing some smokes, but it's very much playing back and waiting rather than pushing out and trying to make big plays.
Yeah, look at this defense composition too. Like, again, I like that BaiSha, once again, they're kind of mixing things up, right? Like, again, they're sole anchoring A, essentially. I mean, they do have like 5-7-7 kind of floating. Now they're going to double up on this, as I'm obviously going to eat my own words for this, but they were kind of just putting like double GR spawn, double B, solo A, which again, I like, because again, with the GR side, it's decent quick rotates on this map. It's actually going to be the BL side that struggles a bit more on this, but you can see that BaiSha are really just playing a lot of good mind games here, switching up their positions constantly. AG now going to fight for this mid control. It will be theirs, but this is the problem. You have double player at GR spawn. I don't even know if, Jouet's not even going to be prepared for it. He gets annihilated, and now these guys are going to try to just take over this A site if they can. 5-7-7 gets spotted, but he still has his life intact. His teammates are able to just secure him. Extra backup, extra reinforcements, and look at that. A little bit of reply here from AG, but I don't even know how we're here right now, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, just brute force, right? They tried to throw a fake in the spawn. They try to flash Jouet in, and he doesn't win, obviously, but they get into A, but there's two people there, and the rotate came in so quickly from spawn. So BaiSha were perfectly set up to defend this push, and yet we do get the plant down, and they do have the man advantage, and yeah, well, that's just going to be 2 kills there, as the gun fire from the side of BaiSha is good enough to clean it up. No shenanigans, no time wasted, and BaiSha move up to 8.
You know, it's so funny because I just want to go back to that point you brought up right when we started. It was like, you know, we were looking at the veto and we were talking about, you know, for BaiSha, and it's interesting because you brought up the point that I was watching the game in the green room where I was watching BaiSha taking on Falcons on this map. And they got a 10-8 victory, but if I'm going to be honest, Falcons did not really look that great. So that's where I was like, oh man, like this, if this is going to be BaiSha playing on this map again, I was like, and you barely squeak through a win against a team like Falcons in their current form, I was thinking like AG's going to have this dead to rights. But that's the thing that I love that you brought up. You're just like, look at how different they're playing. Like their play style is different. The way they're just composed is different. Like BaiSha look like, I feel like they look like a very different team than what we saw against, Falcons, which is so interesting. And then it kind of just goes back to my last point about where I said N9 just probably had like a whole different, book of like different strategies and notes, just given that he knew he was most likely going to be playing AG.
Yeah, certainly looking very prepared for this matchup. And that's really the big difference. I mean, as a team, BaiSha look more prepared, whereas AG not really able to look quite as solid here from the Blacklist side especially. And so let's see what they're going to go for here. Looks like a bit more of the same. They haven't really tested A long. It's not really a common thing to test, but they tried to go for that quick A hit with the fake and the spawn, which is BaiSha-esque, honestly. A little bit of what we saw from them on their Blacklist side. And just not having the success, unfortunately, that they would like. As they're waiting until about 50 seconds left. And they're going to go for a play here. It's actually 5-2-2 who's in B main. The rest of them going from mid. And you can see that BaiSha aren't moving. They don't have anyone in spawn. If 3 guys in B, they're going to try to flash their way in. But 9 is right there, and he just locks up 2 kills, and he stops the push immediately. In the corner here is YDSS. I mean, you can't check everything as 1-2-2 tries to come in late, and they're just not hitting any shots. And 9 is just on a tear right now. And ZQ alone in the 1v4, not going to happen. BaiSha go to 9.
Man, this is great. Like, this is just some, like, really textbook, like, CROSSFIRE, really. It just, again, feels like BaiSha just doing all the right things. They're playing tactically better. They're hitting their shots better. They're reacting to moments better. So they are giving AG a run for their money right now. I mean, we're talking 9-5. We're on the map point now. Last round potentially could be here. But this is where AG need 4. We push this thing to an OT. And now you can see they're going to play ultra passive. They're just kind of spotting things out. They're just trying to make sure BaiSha's not doing anything uncharacteristic where they're just going aggressive and trying to get this, round over with. So it's great, but AG, it's a tough task right now for DOO to be able to call this. Like, I mean, I don't even feel like his calling's been that bad or anything. It's just BaiSha seemed to just be that extra little bit of a step better and, more ahead of what AG are doing. It's just mind games.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it does come down to this, especially when a lot of these teams, especially these 2 teams, are very evenly matched when it comes to the firepower. Like, I feel like AG.AL haven't done a great job of showcasing that. Like, they've had some moments, but at the end of the day, it just feels like they've been left in some positions where they, unless you get like these insane flicks or these insane plays, it's very difficult to actually look very strong in that facet. As the second set of smokes are going to come out here from BaiSha, and actually one from AG over in B main. And this time they actually do want to pressure long, but also this time Xiao is watching it. So I don't know if you actually want to go for that. Still no pressure through that mid smoke. And BaiSha's buying quite a lot of time with all their utility. Another smoke in the A door and in the B door. So looks like they want to keep their tracks hidden for now.
Yeah, absolutely. 50 seconds remaining, and now AG looking like they might just go for this 3-2 like you talked about. A lot of nades throwing towards GR and B, but that's just a bit of a ruse. That's just a little bit of a decoy, if you will. And now they're going to try to split into this, but 1-2-2-2 does get that opening duel. Zhao's going to go down. This is great from AG. Now they've been able to secure themselves a site, but a good little bit of a reply here with the sniper. Not a bad shot. Gets caught with a flash, but it's fine. And now Nine's going to have to do something huge. Spots away a little bit in this, but AG, they just have to hold on. They have to wait for this timer to go through as much as they can. But Nine, look at this. He's just getting free control. He's just running around. This is his playground now. And it seems like BaiSha cannot be able to handle this playground. And AG finally get themselves something to work with.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty nice play there. You could tell that Xiao just had no idea that they were actually going to push that long spot. And he was watching it, but not 100% ready. The peak that he went for when he went down was, just a little bit delayed in terms of his ability to actually respond to the push. And a nice shot from 1-2-2-2 to take him down. And from there, they got the ball rolling in onto A. Still, BaiSha made it interesting at the end, even down members and able to nearly make a comeback there on the retake, but not meant to be. And they still have a nice 3-round cushion behind them. So I'm sure they're not shaking in their boots just yet.
No, I don't think they're any sort of a stress. I agree. Like, I mean, again, when you're at a 9-6 like this for BaiSha, like, this is still fine. Like, they've been just so dominant so far. So, and I think they still have their timeout, if I'm not mistaken, too, right? I think AG were the only ones that burned theirs. So, if things get a little bit more problems arising, then they can decide to slow it down, but they're not going to have to yet. AG now, mid-control is the name of the game. Going to be able to get a player across into GR, and I think that's actually ZY it is, and wow, that's a beautiful shot. So now he gets that opener. Now this is where they're going to try to pinch onto 577. Needs to stay alive, but unfortunately, it can only find the one. So now AG have seemed to be able to figure out this puzzle piece just a little bit more, but look at ZY. Activation here with the sniper, leaving it just for 9. And his comrade to be able to hold things down. This might be difficult unless 9 does something like this. I mean, not again, Valdez, really.
He's actually going to rotate all the way around. This is an interesting time. It's going to take him quite a long time, but you can tell that 1-2-2-2 is like, yeah, he's definitely coming in from mid, unless he rotates all the way around, but that's going to take forever. As now they're going to try to pinch at the same time, but now he's not hitting his shots now. He hits so many, and then he just doesn't hit them at the very end. Unfortunate for him, as he'll get the kill, but there's no time on the clock, so just going to go for the... Yeah. Well, he gets them both, at least. So a nice little
It's just, you feel bad for him. Because it was a great play. Like, honestly, that smoke is blocking it off. Like, he actually did make the timing. And, like, all he had to do was get that first kill. That player that was going up onto the tower or onto heaven there, like, all he had to do was get that kill. Could have been their round easily, right? It's one of those moments you just kick yourself. You're like, man, I've been hitting shots all this game, and I don't hit that. It's like kind of those, like, easy shots that you should hit. You're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, I don't know how I missed it.
Especially when they're facing the other way, it's a little bit more difficult to hit that quick headshot. And this time, BaiSha, they actually push into pillars. We haven't seen any of this from them. They have kept their cool. They haven't really moved outside of their sights. And finally now in round 17, they're like, all right, it's time. Like, they're getting too much of an advantage. They're getting too much room in mid. Let's pressure them. And it works out with a nice shot to begin with.
Yeah. Just gives them an easy position right now, right? I mean, just putting them the man up, and now they can just kind of reformate themselves a little bit, or reformat their positioning, I should say. So that's good. And AG, we're never going to expect that, because why would you? Because BaiSha has not, like you said, not made any sort of an indication they're going to do aggressive plays like that. They've been being a lot more respectful than that. So I love it. Good call from 9 to be able to just say, yeah, you know what? Like you said, let's just figure out something here. Let's find a duel, and they do. Joey's actually taken some big damage. So now, I mean, again, the cost of life here from AG is becoming a little bit negative right now because you only have 3 alive. And yes, I know that 577 is low, but it is still having an extra player available. And AG now, backs are on the boards. They are wounded. They've been getting hit. Can they be able to swing back to maintain themselves here in round 17?
Look at Xiao right now.
Oh, man.
He's like, these guys have been playing slow all day. If I come out here...
Oh, he's going all the way around? Oh.
Well, this, I think, is a little bit much.
That's an overcook if I've heard it, yeah.
Like, if he just peeks out the window, but I understand, like, the timing, it has to be perfect, and unfortunately, he's a little bit behind, but it's okay. He's going to get in there quickly on the rotate, and I like this from 9. He says, I'll just try to survive for as long as possible. I'll delay the plant and allow you to come in. And there it is. Xiao gets up in a tower, hits the shot, and now it's only ZY by himself against 3 to try to keep AG.AL alive in this map.
Yeah, it's all down to one player only, and all BaiSha have to do is just find him. So again, if they can be able to utilize the double player along swinging this, it should be a done deal. ZY is going to have to hit the best shots possible. That timer's already halfway through. Diffuse is coming in. Diffuse is coming in. And okay, he realizes he has to get a move on. BaiSha get it done. They lock themselves into the first map. And that's going to be an interesting little bit of a set now, because now things get even more problematic as AG.AL, they're going to have to dig very deep, and they're going to have to figure out a way to find a reverse sweep. Otherwise, their tournament lives are over.
Yeah, 1 best of 3 against BaiSha. It is harsh, but got to step up to the plate and make it happen, AG.AL. You got to bring us to a map 3 if it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen for them on new compound. The choice of BaiSha, who take it down 1-0, and we'll be back for map number 2.
We knew it was going to be a great matchup as two Titans face off against each other, but BaiSha has struck first, winning new compound 10-7, putting AG.AL on the ropes.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the veto here. I feel like BaiSha has their best set of maps to win this series. They come out strong, but I mean, we got to talk about N9. What a performance. I think he heard us say AG is trying to make a dynasty because he came out here like a brick wall.
Yeah, this is a guy that really, really wants that trophy. You know, I was thinking at the start, well, they're actually not being that reliant on him. I thought it was quite a good team effort. The snipers are doing a lot of work in that first half, and then in that second half, he just took over. He was completely undeniable. And I feel like there was just no say coming in from that AG side. It was very reminiscent of the Falcons game, right, where BaiSha on this incredible run, they get up to 9. Did slow down there. So they took the pedal off for a second, but once they get to 9, they inevitably close.
Yeah, the question from chat was stamina. Is that going to be an issue? Obviously, we just witnessed BaiSha play against Falcons. They win it 2-0. And I asked you, Kyle, said, was that, going to be an issue stamina-wise? Or was it kind of a warm-up? And you said warm-up, and clearly it was the case. AG.AL was coming in yawning, kind of looking a little bit tired, maybe just waking up. I'm sure they're going to wake up in map number 2, but the wide-awake BaiSha refused to falter.
Yeah, I mean, this is BaiSha saying, we've been awake, we're here to win this thing. And on top of that, you've got some of the best individual performances we've seen all tournament long from this team as well on top of it. It's going to be a tough one for AG to bounce back from, just knowing as well, the next map on the horizon last time they met at EWC, this was a 10-1 win map for BaiSha on the way.
Yeah, it's not a great veto here. I'm so surprised that it played out the way it did, because new compound has been the territory of BaiSha, consistently have beat it against them every time it comes out. And Ankara hasn't been that much different. You mentioned the EWC record during the regular season as well, domestically. 10-2 was the most recent outing. That was only a month and a half ago. 10-6 before that. Ankara has been BaiSha's win condition in a lot of these series. So I'm very, very concerned for AG.AL.
Well, they picked it for a reason, and AG.AL might have a game plan. After all, that was last year. This year is this year, right? Potentially we'll be seeing a totally different game plan, and actually could play into the factor of AG.AL. You think about it, BaiSha's going to go into this remembering that historical data, right? They're going to remember we won this 10-1. We're going to go in it the same way. We've already beat you one way, we're going to do it again, but AG.AL is going to be anticipating that, and they're looking to counter everything that happened last year.
Yeah, I think the big thing we're missing from AG at the moment, and in this first map, you could see it almost felt like they were playing too safe as a team. BaiSha, I think the reason they're so strong right now is they're the team taking risks. And we saw earlier in the day, that's why Stallions was able to come back and win that series as well. So I feel like if you're AG, you've got to play a little bit more confident, because they're almost playing too much like the book here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to see a few more out of some of those individuals as well. I think DRO is definitely that guy that I want to see more out of. Spoke about it coming into this. Hasn't been a standout event for him, but it has been a brilliant season. Last year was absolutely phenomenal for him, and it just felt like his presence was sorely lacking there.
Well, I gotta say, EWC, it's well underway. Being the final week, there's so much that has happened. After all, it's 24 different games. We provide as much coverage as we possibly can, but there's another little video that is helping us out. It's called Level Up Season 2.
A lot of people are haunted by their past. I'm inspired by it.
They're not just playing for themselves, they're really playing for their entire family.
They have defeated their demons! They have crushed the curse!
Level Up is great, so is CFS 2026 Grand Finals happening in Wuhan. We hope to see each and every one of you there. But we got something special for all of you at home. We did this a couple of days ago. We're bringing it back. Kyle, what do we got?
Oh, it's going to be an awesome TRG skin. The code there on your screen. Pick it up and show us what you can do with it. We've seen a lot of TRG action today in the server, most notably in this last one from Xiao. So have fun with this skin, and honestly, I'm gonna grab one myself.
Absolutely. I know Sneaky's already back there claiming the code.
Yeah, Sneaky's definitely, I was about to say, he's already taking a screenshot. He's scanning the QR code, just like you should be at home and get advantage of that skin on offer.
Yeah, it's free 99, best price out there after all. Make sure you get the code, scan the QR code if you haven't already. It's free, baby, and we'd love to give you all some love out there in the chat. Now, speaking of love lost, AG.AL now down 1-0 in the series. They could potentially be in trouble. We knew how meteoric this matchup was going to be. Anytime you see BaiSha play against AG.AL, you know it's going to be a good one. Maybe not awake in game one. They need to wake up in game number 2. We go to Ankara, and again, bringing that conversation back. You mentioned last year it was BaiSha who won on this very map in EWC 10-1. I'm thinking there's going to be some new things pulled out from AG.AL's side. They've done their homework. But my concern, more so than that, is the players themselves. Their numbers were incredibly low, DOO included, right? You would expect him to be hitting more shots than he did in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, the individual performance severely lacking from all gamers so far on the day. I'm hoping they've got a little bit more left in the tank, because we've seen what this team can do when they hit that peak potential, and we already know BaiSha is at that level. Now the concern is, will AG rise up and meet them there?
Yeah, I feel like ZQ is the only one that's really fighting back in a lot of that. But this is where, if you're a team like AG.AL, you know what it takes to win trophies. You've done it so many times before. We talked about the potential for an era. We talk about the championship mentality, the pedigree of these players. This is where you show what has made you those players.
That's right. And just a reminder, guys, at home, this is Stream A. We also have Stream B currently live, and another quarterfinal matchup is taking place between Stallions and Rock. Stallion leading 1-0, and that was such a fantastic ending. If you missed it, go back and watch it, but make sure not to close out on Stream A, because we've got map number 2 coming your way. It's Ankara, AG.AL's pick, despite them losing last year. Now for BaiSha, will they close this out 2-0? That would be a tremendous accomplishment and put them that much closer to lifting the trophy in grand finals. It's BaiSha versus AG.AL. Who's taking map 2? Chat, get loud, because this one is going to be an explosive one. We head to Ankara with Valdez and Laz.
Thank you very much, guys. We are so ready to jump back into the action. BaiSha Gaming looking super strong, and I love the call out from our wonderful analysts, where it's like, AG.AL, you're better than this. Like, we have really high standards for both of these teams. BaiSha Gaming has met them. AG.AL has not. Can they do it on Ankara? This is always super fiery for both of these teams when they go head-to-head on this map, so I'm excited for this one, Laz.
Oh, me too. And I mean, the thing that, I think Lucy brought this up too, is the fact about, last time these guys played each other, it was at 10-1, right? So, I mean, that was last year. BaiSha were able to make an absolute statement, probably more than a statement on this map. So that's where I think for AG, like, yes, things have probably changed, but just considering how well BaiSha played on that first map, it does kind of make me wonder if these guys are shaking in their boots a little bit, considering of, like, again, how dominant that, scoreline really was.
Yeah, I'd say probably a little bit, but I know the mentality. We've heard it so many times from interviews from these players where it's like, we don't care who we're playing against, we just got to play our game. And I'm sure they feel like they haven't played their game just yet, and hopefully they get to show it in this map here, number 2. Otherwise, you're going home, right? So they better show it. They better show up and give us the match we were hoping for. As it's been fun so far, but certainly dominant to the side of BaiSha. And ZY up here by himself, checking. You could see just in the corner of his screen, You can see the door. So he does see one of those members pop out, and he will back up to safety onto the B site.
Yeah, it just adds a lot more flavor to this, right? I mean, again, this is where now we talk about for AG, like, if they can be able to find even the reverse sweep, that's where, I think, again, just would solidify a lot of that conversation about them being one of the strongest teams. And, worldwide, one of the known greatest, so that's one of those things. But that's where this is now. We're at the quarterfinals. This is where champions are born. This is how, the stories are created. So I don't want to take that away from BaiSha, though, too, because, again, it feels like their first map was a lot of preparation, but we have to see how this map goes, because if BaiSha can be able to find themselves a 2-0, man, oh, man, I mean, just what a way to be able to get back on that redemption arc as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't see Ankara in the match against Falcons. This is a very nice flank from ZY. He's just been hanging out in hotel the whole time. They never really dealt with him, and now ZQ surviving for quite a long time. Pushes forward, and only Xiao's going to get the 1 kill. Nice swing from him, just trying to play the clock a little bit maybe, but now they're going to go for the double swing, and they do take him down. ZY and ZQ, the deadly duo. We always see them pairing up together, and that's a good start here for AG.AL.
Much needed. They needed it, right? I mean, I feel like there's a conversation we always have about getting the first round and just kind of getting something built and just try to get momentum kind of, in motion. And I think this is very much needed for AG.AL. Again, they were in the position where, the scoreline on that last map was, 10-7, but I do feel like BaiSha played, the way better game. Now we're starting to see a little bit of action back and forth, and ZY actually does win that engagement. So now AG.AL seem to have a bit of a wake-up call here, but maybe YDSS might have something in store. It's just a back and forth affair. Blow after blow here from both these teams, and they're just swinging for the fences, really. But it is still favorable for AG.AL. Oh yeah, now it's really looking good.
Yeah, Dio should know where the bomb is planted. And we are going to have a timeout, actually. And by Dio, I meant YDSS, of course. That's
all right.
That's how it works with these names. But he's going to go all the way around. And we'll see exactly how he's going to attack this bomb, because obviously AG.AL have all sights on this. They are playing around it. He's going to get a pretty nice angle here, but again, as long as they just stick 3 people on that bomb and react to wherever he comes from, it should not matter. And BaiSha have taken that timeout, so curious to see if it's going to help them. It is a very early one, which we don't always see.
Yeah, this would have to be a bit of a slip up too, right? For DOO, if he misses this first fight, then it does right now the way this is set up is it almost kind of creates a bit of a 1v1, but you do have ZY that was kind of again floating on bridge. He's kind of spotting it, but if he can find the split timing on it, could be decent. That nade's not going to help. I mean, that landed right on his feet, so he takes a ton of damage against him. Good little bit of a prediction here from AG. Now a swing, but ZY just goes for the nice little bit of a target practice and gets it. So not bad here at all. And I think there was that timeout called from BaiSha, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they're going to use this early on. I mean, B-Dog and I had that conversation a little bit earlier today where we were like, oh, okay, interesting that a team calls it pretty quick. But that's where I was saying, if a team like AG can find the first round, find a second round, you don't want to build that momentum, especially a group like them. This is the defending champs of EWC. You want to slow this down. You got to figure out a way to just, shut down the valve, and you're like, okay, we got to figure out how, we just kind of slow any sort of, wind getting picked up for these guys.
Yeah, and I'm sure from the coach's point of view, he's probably seeing a lot of stuff he doesn't like, and he's like, okay, we have to have a discussion about how we're handling this right now, because it definitely feels like BaiSha are being stopped at kind of every corner, even though that first round was a bit closer. The second round was absolutely not. And coach is probably just saying, yeah, we got to have a discussion about this. And, the choice here in the veto was actually to the side of AG.AL. They did go ahead and pick Ankara after BaiSha took new compound for the first map. But BaiSha actually won on this map against King Zero in their 1-2 loss in the upper bracket semis. And it was a 10-5. So, BaiSha already had a pretty good performance on this map, as by the way, this was a really nice little swing around quick reaction that came in there very nicely. And ZY himself now sitting at 5-0 on the scoreboard.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, he'll be curious to see what BaiSha want to do a little bit differently. Like you said, the coach probably have a lot of conversation and just obviously noticing some big holes. And actually, they're going to fight for A main. Okay, interesting. And it seems like AG, the same thing they want to do too. DOO does find that opening duel. Ooh, and Joey might actually try to go for this a little bit more. I would like to see the pullback on this. Okay, I like this. This is good. You still have allow DOO to kind of just, again, play that little bit of an off angle. But now you've taken control part of the map. Now you can kind of refight for more control if you want. So look at BaiSha. Like, they're kind of like one option really only. And AG now fully know.
Yep, ZY got that spot on this pressure that is coming in from all the way up in the tower. He's going to drop down, and there are 4 guys on B. So they know that you're here. And also DO is able to hold down on the opposite side of the map and just say, well, they're not rotating back, not yet. So just more smokes, more utility to buy some time. And that's exactly what we're going to see. We do see a couple of smokes thrown forward here from the side of BaiSha. And at this point, I mean, you still do have time if you want to rotate all the way back, but I think at this point they're somewhat committed, especially as they're here, as the flash comes down, as they try to push in. There's a lot of smoke in the face of ZQ, but the spam is getting some work done already. As 577 Alia come in, and they do get a couple of kills already. Looking now for ZY. Nade over the top, but ZY is just too good right now. He's 8-0, picks up 3 kills, and they will not be stopped on Ankara.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, again, this is where, you know, you always kind of ask the question about when you're down a map, it's like, who is going to step it up? Who is going to be able to serve the hot meal? And right now it seems like it's ZY. Like you said, putting himself in an 8-0, he's just picking up a lot of impactful kills, whether it's 1 round, double round. Like we're in 4 rounds, and he's sitting at an 8-0 already. DOO being able to find himself that opener. This is now where AG looking a lot different, a little bit more revitalized, more of a comfort for them, right? Like it felt like new compound. They were still trying to figure things out a little bit. Now clearly they're just driving this thing. And it's just a one expressway, it seems like right now. But BaiSha are going to have to do something different. And now Zhao being removed from this, that's tough. I mean, he was impactful this last map.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising that they still don't have a round here in what could be 4 rounds, down a member now, as you were just talking about. And, I mean, this is Ankara from the Blacklist side. Generally, we see these teams have a lot of success pushing some of these sites, especially A. Ooh. They haven't done a lot of that. Lia gets the 1 snipe on a 1-2-2. And, ooh, oh, that's a big one. Gets another one. As we do have DOO trying to re-peek him, essentially. ZY at least going to hold down B. 9-0 now.
Let's just see how much you can go more, eh? Like, you know, I don't mind this. Ooh, good flash on the 9. Oh, wow, he actually did try to commit to that. He was really feeling it. I mean, he did a lot of damage, but just not the kill. And now his teammate for ZQ, the legend himself, he's able to find that double, maybe make it a triple. Yes, he will. Wow. Damn. They are lights out right now, man. They are looking good.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what these 2 are able to do, and the rest of the squad just supporting them, ZY and ZQ. You remember round 1, it was those 2 who held it down on B. Round 3, round 4, and that's going to be 4-0 with a lot of weight pulled by those 2 guys. And we do have a lot of action outside of A. As DO is pushed up here, he's not going to get the flick on a 5-7-7, misses again. And now he's flashed, but he lives, importantly, as he goes for the wide swing, and 3rd time's the charm, as he is being pressured, but he does live again. They're just not able to really punish that at all, which is pretty surprising. But I suppose a little bit of help from Dre and the vents is going to keep him alive for a little bit. And then he does go down. He survived for so long.
It's true. No, I mean, he did. Honestly, he played his role perfectly. I mean, even with the couple shots missed, he stayed alive for as long as he needed to, and BaiSha it took a lot of labor to get that done. So it's just, I mean, yeah, the fact you get the trade-off of the 1-1, sure, but man, it was a lot of work to make that happen. But 3 players committed here from AG.AL, and then just leaving it for ZY to be able to lock this down here. Again, why not? You've been able to just put yourself in a 9-1 scoreline, be the anchor. Like, you've been solidifying that clearly so far on Ankara. But BaiSha do have the utility available they need if they want to get the execute, but just wait, man, that timing is ridiculous. And now 9's kind of like, okay, well, I'm late on the swing. He wasn't expecting he had to do this, right? Like, he was hoping his teammates were going to be able to stay alive, and now he gets caught a little bit. So now AG, they might just be thieves here because they're just going to be able to take this round away too, and it looks like they might be able to have themselves ready to go on a 5-0. I mean, that timeout, like, man, this has just not really been doing too much. And AG, whew, they are just making it just a clean sheet. This is just A+ work.
Yeah, they really can't do any wrong. Like, whether it's close or not, they're just, it's like they have plot armor. They're just going to win regardless of what happens. And it's really impressive stuff already from AG. You can see Jay is just like, go, 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 keep going, keep putting on the pressure. And he hit 3 snap headshots in that last round. I was just talking about how, you know, it's kind of the ZYZQ show, but supported heavily by the rest of the squad, obviously, and that time it was Dway's turn to get the lockdown and hit some big headshots, especially that swing on a Xiao. Like, I don't think that should ever happen. Like, Xiao should be able to hold that angle and should win against a rifler from that range, but if he doesn't, the whole round falls apart.
Exactly. And let's not forget, like, this is the map that, you know, all of us were kind of like, and Kara made it through the picks and the vetoes, and AG are the ones that did pick this map. So I'm starting to get why. I'm starting to see why they wanted to play this map again and get a little bit of revenge. And now the information spotted. 1222's got all the intel, but now can he be able to use that information to his benefit? DOO will be able to solve that puzzle first. He does go for the swing, at least finds the 1. But BaiSha do have themselves in the site, but that C4 is dropped. They have to still pick it up. Still with a minute and 20. Flash is going to get thrown. Nade's going to get thrown. So Jouet's actually just going to try to contest. Oh, man, that counter flash. Ooh, that's bad. That popped really nicely. And look at that. Zhao's going to be able to find this. Just low picking of the fruit. And BaiSha finally get rid of that goose egg. And they can have some sort of a meal, and they get themselves around.
Yeah, I said it before, better late than never. For Falcons when they were very far behind, but yeah, that's pretty interesting that they do get in there. It was a nice push underneath into B. They get in, they get some huge flashes over the top and essentially just make that B site theirs. I think especially, you know, ZY wasn't on the defense that time. He was going for the flank. ZY is going to pop out the window with the pistol and get a headshot kill on a 5.77 and get away. So talk about clutch. ZY doesn't want to go home yet. He's just like, no, this is not happening, guys. We're not just going to lose to BaiSha in a best of 3. I will not allow it.
Especially a 2-0, right? I mean, like, yeah, this is the thing I love about AG, and that's what I was kind of saying before. I'm like, this is, you know, if they can be able to find themselves in a 3-map conversation, that's where we talk about why they're the champs, why they're the defending champs in this, you know, EWC. So we'll see if they can hold on. Now AG going to get tested. Bomb's going to get dropped, but it is ZQ. Oh, no, that's awkward. He doesn't land a shot, and now you can tell he is mad about it. He missed every opportunity to find a kill here. So AG.AL, they have to put themselves on a retake. Everybody is here on fence. They're going to have to find a way to slip through this. This is not going to be easy. This is a choke point.
Yeah, this is really where a lot of teams get stuck trying to retake A if they don't have any presence on the opposite side of the site. Either you try to like get some flashes in and hope that they don't hold all the angles, but that rarely happens. So they're going to still try to go for it. They're not going to rotate around. There's really not that much time. And behind the box, they play it so well as 9 tries to stick it too from the back corner. He's not going to do it, though. And now Xiao just waiting for the defuse pop, and he's going to round the corner, gets the headshot on a DOO. And I don't think there was enough time for the defuse anyway, as Xiao played it very well, even though his teammates couldn't quite hold on to it. A little bit rickety for BaiSha, but, you know, 2 round wins is 2 round wins, and they're in this map.
They're going to take it, right? I mean, that's the thing. They have to take anything they can at this point. So it is not the cleanest, right? We were praising a lot about them on New Compound. We're like, man, these rounds look good. Like, everything's just textbook. Yeah, now things are getting a little bit shaky, let's be honest. But look, they'll take it. A round win is going to be the round win at the end of the day. And Zhao did definitely play that very, very well. Again, just playing a lot of patience into it. Didn't really, you know, go for the aggression. Just tried to burn the time as much as possible. And DOO just like, yeah, I don't think I got a chance for this defuse. But nonetheless, still a couple more rounds to go here for the first half. And look at 1222. Oh, man, he is going for a run. He is going to be getting tons of information. He might get the timing on this. Oh, we need to go to him right now because he might just be able to go for the ultimate flank if he decides to move forward. But he has to do it momentarily.
He's actually taking his time with this, interestingly enough, but they're already in onto the A side. Dwayne just isolating. He's down, and look at that from 5.77. He doesn't miss as they are on it. And finally, 1222 comes in at a timing where BaiSha do not expect it. So, yes, the value is there, but there were 2 guys on that flank. And unfortunately, the 3 people from AG that were on the A site were not able to hold it by themselves. So got to go back to the reinforcements here. It's 577 behind the box. Leah, the spam comes through, but the trade should have been there. Leah just trying to back up now, goes down with the pistol, and that's not going to work as the shots ring true this time for AG, and they get the defuse.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was so sad to see that 1-2-2 didn't go for that, like, you know, immediate swing in the mid like that. I mean, again, I get it because there is usually a player on the BL side that is trying to spot that. But there was that just kind of like second or two where he could have just gone extra footing. He could have been able to probably find a double kill, if not a triple, a little bit faster. But look, I think he even found a triple kill at the end of the day. So it's kind of like a moot point. But nonetheless, I mean, AG react to the chaos very well. Simmer the flame a little bit here. And BaiSha now, last remaining round here. If they could be able to find this, this would be great. But DOO, man, he is starting to perform like we saw last year. Let's not forget, he was the MVP. And he is starting to put himself in a decent conversation here. I know his scoreline's not really painting that full picture, but he has been able to find these duels. He has been able to create some kind of space, and that really does go a long way when we're talking about 2 heavy hitters like this.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get DO online, ZY's already online. Zway's having a big map so far. And you might just have enough pieces to get across the line against a team like BaiSha. And it does look like BaiSha for their final round, maybe finally some pressure into the middle of the map. We have not seen this. But they are going to go for it. Ooh. That's a missed shot, and DOO wins against Xiao. And that's, you know, Xiao's not been having a good half, to be quite frank, as now the timing from Dre is good. But he does go down. It's traded back here. Nate comes forward. He tries to jump in. And that is just not going to work, as BaiSha are left floundering around. And now 9 is like, where did my team go? At least he got the bomb.
Yeah, and if he can find this kill on 1-2-2-2, like, again, he's deep in mid. That would be interesting. But again, he's going to go, oh, and he's not going all the way around. Oh, he's trying to make me guess. Like, I'm trying to help you out here, man. But look, he's just undecided. Is he going to clear this? Oh, he's not going to clear it. Oh, he's not going to clear it. Oh, he does clear. Okay, just kidding. Okay, 9 is just going to be able to do some mastermind stuff. Apparently, I have no idea. I'm just going to let him cook. Clearly, he is the chef.
Let's see where he goes. He nearly got him there. ZY nearly died from that shot. And B-site's being left open right now. So 9 could just go ahead and plant, but instead, he is challenging DOL on the back of the A site. He's being charged at the same time. There's one headshot. And 9's making it real interesting. The timing here for ZY is so important, but he doesn't get it. And now ZQ's coming through, and there's just really not enough time to get this plant down, as up the stairs comes ZQ, and he does get the kill. So 7 rounds for AG. Even though N9 tried to make it cool and interesting, it is still a 7-2 half. It is still AG in total control of this this map.
Yeah, and that just kind of gives you, like, you know, I think if 9 would have been able to have like an extra 20 seconds, like, he wouldn't have probably forced that plant. He would have cleared the site. He would have checked things out. Could have been different, right? And like you said, he almost took down, you know, ZY in middle like that. He actually took a ton of damage against him, so he just narrowly missed that shot. But good efforts, but not going to be able to pan out for them. Now a 7-2, like you said. We switch things over. AG just needing to find the 3 to close this thing out, and now we move to Eagle Eye if necessary. What a statement, though, made on that first half. Like, that's a big scoreline. Like, that is not something I would have predicted. If, like, you're going to ask me, I thought, no, not a chance. But I love it. It's good to see that, you know, AG is still showing a ton of life into this game.
Yeah, and BaiSha were able to do that on their map pick of new compounds. They looked great in that first half. They brought in a lot of new stuff, a lot of, well, new from the earlier in the day, I should say. Not new to new compound. And now 577 going to get that kill on a DOO. And all of a sudden, that pressure that you had onto A feels a little bit less good. So they're just rotating away. As we can see, BaiSha actually only had 2 guys on the A side, so it could have been a good try to go for that execute anyway. But not going to go for it. Instead, just hanging around the middle of the map. And also you can see 162 on the map is going for a trade underneath into B, as YDSS not looking the right way, but N9 in the window, and he's going to do his job. ZQ he got that kill on a YDSS, making it pretty interesting. It is a 3-on-3, but many injured members of AG at the moment.
Did he see that C4 dropped? I was wondering that too, because I was thinking 9 might have been able to spot that, but then again, he gets kind of irrelevant now. They're able to get the kill against him, now get the plant down. So you just leave it at 5-7-7. And now it's just, this is going to be not easy at all. 1 versus 2. HP is low.
Just defuse.
Just defuse. Just stick it.
Just stick it.
Pros don't fake. Just do it.
Oh, okay. That's better. I like that better.
Okay, now you stick it.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
He's so low, though. 1-2-2 is playing this well. He's just waiting. He's not being fooled, but he's holding it now as he peeks around and barely gets that one, but the timing is perfect from 1-2-2. That brings AG to 8. And this map is looking good for them.
Yeah, wow, this was unexpected, to be honest. Like, I mean, we talked about them picking it. We were like, okay, well, clearly they've done some homework, but I didn't know if maybe just the way the first map went, if that was going to be a little bit against them. But no, I mean, they didn't even seem fazed by it. They're playing so well. So now we're talking about 2 rounds needed. Eagle-Eye will be the determiner, which does kind of... Eagle-Eye's been played a lot at this tournament, which has been like cool to see, right? Like, it's great to see. Like, I feel like that map getting in the rotation more often. It actually does excite me, to be honest. I like the way it plays.
Yeah, I think Eagle-Eye 2.0 specifically.
Yeah, 2.0. Yeah, just to be clear.
Yeah, the original Eagle-Eye wasn't that bad, but I do think that the changes have made it into a much better map and one that the pros are more willing to play, at least. And now we got 3 guys here from BaiSha. First kill goes to Lie, and now the hold here on A is fantastic. Flying colors so far, and 9 is just hitting the shots, man. He's just on something today.
Oh, man. DOO, I thought he was going to almost be able to find that on the corner. Ooh, okay. Captain, oh my captain, but he can't be able to find it, but good efforts nonetheless. BaiSha scraped through another round, and that was a really great hold. And I like that AG, again, just mix it up. Nothing too crazy. They're just like, look, let's just go for a little bit of an A-pop. Unfortunately, they fall into the little bit of a trap, a little bit of a situation. And now we get to see that defense for BaiSha. They try to just go a little bit of an aggression in the mid, just finding a duel. Doesn't seem to find anything. Now they reset. 4 players committed at this A site. Holy. Pop flashes galore. 9 might try to go for a bit of a swing on this. And he's going to have an easy duel. I think he might be able to find the second, and he does. He's just getting away with this. What is going on? How is he single-handedly being able to find 3 kills like that? And now BaiSha should be able to just get this done here with ZQ. He gets spotted, but... Okay, nice shot from DOO, and we're back to an equal playing field.
Yeah, all of a sudden, definitely a weird one where N9 was just allowed to do whatever he wanted. A lot of flashes over the top. Maybe they just weren't ready for that fast of a push. And that is a leg into Xiao. He is going to have to back off, but DOO wants to punish maybe. Thought about it, certainly, but he did not push through the smoke. Now he's going to find himself head-to-head with Lie. That is a fast one from DOO. And all of a sudden, the B site looking pretty juicy for them.
Yeah, and Judd's going to go all the way around, too. Okay, I don't mind this. Might be able to find it. Oh, DOO's by that box? Okay. I was like, man, okay, is he going to spot this? No, but if he goes hotel... Oh, no, he's not even going to go... Oh, my goodness. Valdez, this could be good. Oh, my goodness, what is going... Okay. I was thinking if he was going to go towards bridge, like he could try to fight that. But again, you'd have to clear a lot of angles, but they shouldn't expect him here this quickly.
Yeah, he's gotten over so quickly. ZQ, though, behind the box, just gets the jump on him as, of course, Xiao also didn't know where he was going to be playing. And now at 9-3, this is looking like we will be having a third map. Almost certainly. And remember that BaiSha took that very early timeout in this one as well, going down 0-2.
Yeah.
They were like, we need to talk about this, and unfortunately it wasn't enough. Whatever they discussed, it was not enough to get them back on this map. So a bit of a one-sided affair here, 9-3.
Yeah, and that's where we talk about those timeouts being utilized really early on, right? Now this would have been great for them to be able to have that conversation late in the game, but cannot happen. Trades galore. Zhao going down early. That's problematic because, again, now you've lost your sniper here for BaiSha. DO still alive. Oh, are they really just going to commit to the stair play? I mean, why not? They haven't really done this yet at all. Oh, Leah's not going to expect this. Surely not. Okay, gets a little bit of a spotting. Nade comes in, trying to just create some kind of space. Goes for a swing, drops the bomb. Ooh, my goodness, almost makes that interesting with a double. AG now on the brink to getting this done.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for them. They got a lot of utility as well as they came in here pretty dry, and now...
It's a 1v1.
Yeah, that all of a sudden, at 9, 577 get a couple of kills. But still, bomb is planted. Good position here for 1222. And N9 has taken his time with this one, unfortunately for him. You know, 1222 could easily be playing up, you know, trying to get the jump on N9, so he has to be a bit careful. But now he can just try to go for the tap on the bomb. There's just really not that much time. I don't think there's enough. As nobody peeks,
no.
1222 does it again. There's just not enough time as he comes down. He finds him, but that's not going to matter as AG.AL will take that final round and take down Ankara and bring us to an Eagle Eye.
Not bad at all. Yeah, AG.AL looking really good, and what a great rebound from that, right? We were kind of worried to see, like, you know, is this really going to be at the end of the storyline for these guys? But no, they definitely have to take it to the full distance. That's what we all kind of expected, but I did have my doubts. I'm going to be honest. I did kind of question, you know, just get, again, the performance that we got to see from them in map 1. I thought it was all over, but clearly it's not.
It is not over, and we are going to head over to map number 3 in just a moment.
If you're worried about AG.AL, put those worries aside. They're going to a game 3 after dominating Ankara 10-3. Kyle, I must say, watching me and Lucy were out there in the stands with the fans watching AG.AL, and I think I saw probably some of the best CROSSFIRE play that I've ever seen before. The way that they were maneuvering the map, the way that they were taking fights, and most importantly, disengaging with their life after engaging onto BaiSha was so truly impressive. After all, they went, 5-0 up before BaiSha even had a response.
Yeah, really rough start from BaiSha, but you have to give credit to the IGLing of AG on this one. Like you said, very fluid gameplay. On top of that, the star players are back in the server as well. ZY notably starting off with 9 kills and only 1 death in this match.
Yeah, I think he ended that first half 13-3 or something along those lines. But GRSI, which is, as you say, fluid. You know, they knew exactly what they were doing, and you could really tell that they were, experts on the map. You can very easily fall back and play sides. You can play very defensive because obviously you can stall out quite well on Ankara. But no, they were taking the fight to them, taking so much mid space, pushing out through, making it so uncomfortable for BaiSha.
Definitely so. Again, it was just so impressive to go from game 1 where they look lackluster, they're yawning on stage, they're not even awake, to what they do to turn it around in game number 2. It's so impressive. But after all, they are the returning champions, and that was a championship performance.
It really was. I mean, most notably, I would say DOO stepping up to the plate big time in this one. He was very quiet in the first map of the series, but on top of that, you've got the duo of ZQ and ZY really helping lock things down as well, right in those key moments where they needed to shine.
Yeah, Duo really did step up, right? Because it felt like he was, as we said, was really absent in a lot of their series. Had some great openers in the first half. Felt like he wasn't needed for the multi-kills. The riflers were doing so much of the work. But that second half on the BL side, it felt like he was exactly the sort of player that we've come to expect from him.
Yeah, the Vince plays too was pretty impressive. Again, just the aggression from AG.AL was something that I'm just not accustomed to seeing. I know they can turn it up a notch, but they're okay with playing slow. They typically do. but I felt night and day difference from game 1 to game 2. They were pushing fights, they were engaging early on, and BaiSha simply did not have an answer. We take a look at the summary, 10-3 overall. You all mentioned DOO 14, ZY 14 as well when it comes to kills. But on the other side, Xiao, who had a great game 1, falls to the wayside with only 4, YDSS only 5.
273 damage as well from Xiao. That's not quite what we've come to expect from him just across the performances so far. But, you know, that part of that comes from DOO having such a great performance. Also want to give a shout out to 12222, who had a bit of a quiet pop off there, actually the most damage, I think, in the server. And he's the player that on day 1 was actually really missing. It was quite noticeable in that series. But in the last couple, he's actually looked really solid in those clutches to close out in the post plants. He's looked very cool under the pressure.
Yeah, it's great you point him out because 1222, we don't talk about him too often, even though he's on one of the most monumental rosters in CROSSFIRE history.
Yeah, he's just one of those key support players that isn't always present on the scoreboards, but when he's needed in those key moments, he steps up. You saw it there in that key 1v1, just playing out the clock, making the right decisions in those key moments.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want, right, from all your pieces, because obviously you do rely on the superstars here, or you're expecting to see them up the top, right, and you've got the players that pull that through, but what makes you a superstar roster, what makes you champions is having everyone best in role, and if you're getting this sort of performance here in the quarterfinals, you know, you can just see how that's going to progress throughout the playoffs.
Lucy, the roles are important. We realize that, and they're playing the roles perfectly, but a game 3, it comes down to that. One key will be crushed. One team will be moving forward to semifinals. Who's it going to be? Well, before we get our answer, we need a club championship update. I'm hearing it. It's loud over at the Qiddiya City grid. And Trav took a travel over there to give us a club championship update powered by Aramco.
We're over at the Qiddiya City grid where Fortnite is now into its Group B. We played out Group A yesterday and there were some relevant CC teams. So what's going on in Group B? What teams, what storylines have we got going on, Lauren?
Okay, well, yesterday we were keeping our eyes on Falcons, Aurora Gaming, Vitality. Today is the story of AG.AL. However, I know it's early on in, Group B. However, they're at the bottom. It's not looking so great for them, but this is the same situation we saw with Falcons in Group A. They started off the day really slow. They were one of our top contenders, and then they exploded towards the end, redeemed themselves, put themselves in 4th place overall, enough to qualify through to finals. We're looking for AG.AL to do the exact same thing here. They are one of the top teams coming into it. Even at the beginning of the show, our casters were saying that they could win this entire group, so there are very high expectations of them. We'll have to see if they're able to bounce back. But if we're talking about just other CC relevant teams, they might not be at the top of our leaderboard, but right now, at the top of this leaderboard, we see Twisted Minds and Furia. And so even if they're not going to take home the trophy at the end of this, a win here or a strong performance here could also net them some more money from the CC side of things.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Looks like AG.AL need to pick it up if they want to get going and continue their run through Fortnite. We'll see how things play out and keep you updated as we go.
Thank you, Trav and Glitter, for the update. Glitter, loving his shirt. She's got a dog and a porcupine all on the same shirt. What's going on? It's chaos. But for AG.AL here, they're performing well. But will they stay alive? That's my big question. Over on the B stream, however, we had a great series go down from Team Stallions and Rock. And Salvatore is going to let us know who took the victory.
The Stampede lives on and the Rock has been crushed. Team Stallions advances to the next round of the playoffs to send the Rock Esports #1 team from Brazil back home. It was a 13-9 overtime victory by Team Stallions with a 26-kill performance from Action. It was not enough because 25 from Loy and the 23-kill performance from No was all good for Team Stallions to take the series 1-0. Next set was Ankara and Team Stallions did not look back. What an amazing performance once again from Loy, 2-0 to close out the series and to crush the key of Rock Esports. Coming up next, it's another Brazilian derby. Team Liquid versus Navi, only here at EWC CROSSFIRE Stream B.
Thank you, Salvatore, for the update. Stallions move on. Rock gets their key, crush the first victim of quarterfinals. Coming up is map 3, AG.AL, AG.AL versus BaiSha.
Yeah, and AG.AL, I mean, this has been for AG.AL a very reliable map in the head-to-head. They have the better of BaiSha in this. But on day 1, first Q9, it wasn't the most comprehensive victory, so I still give BaiSha a shot here.
Yeah, I mean, backs against the wall for both teams, and we've seen what they can do under the high-stakes pressure that they're under right now. BaiSha, they look strong in the first, but AG, they look so much stronger in the second, so I'm actually going to go ahead and say it's AG now.
Only one can move forward. We're split on the desk. What about you, chat? Who do you think is going to move on? Who do you think will have their key crushed? There can only be but one. Will it be AG.AL or will it be BaiSha? Valdez, Laz, let's close out this story.
Thank you so much, guys. The story will be closed here for one of the teams, as they will have their key crushed after a loss, but another will have the glory and the greatness and the honor to move on in the rest of EWC and get a chance to fight for that top prize. I kind of agree with Kyle here. I think that AG.AL, my original feeling was that they were going to take it. I think BaiSha came out really strong on the first map, kind of caught them by surprise, but that second map, that's more of what I expected. That's the AG.AL I know.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, it was a bit of a shaker. We were all thinking, okay, hang on, like maybe BaiSha have been cooking, right? I mean, they're making some good meals, but unfortunately it just wasn't going to be able to be served hot here on Ankara, so it does need to go to the distance of Eagle-Eye, and I do now think that AG getting that recent victory now puts them in a great position. I feel like the wind is going to be behind them. This might be maybe not the smoothest sailing, but I mean, it might be decent sailing, but we'll have to see. This is where the teams did have a couple minutes just, again, figure out whatever they needed to get into, you know, final round contention here, as this is pretty much do or die for both these teams.
You said it before, Laz. Eagle-Eye has been very fun so far at this tournament. We've had a lot of aggression, a lot of great plays on this one as they are pushing in down a long, but up from the top. Lee comes down behind them, and they just do not expect that. Bomb on the ground, DO against 3. Not looking good for him, as this first play of aggression towards the A sites does fall a little bit flat for the side of AG.AL. I do think that they will have to be a little bit crisp, more crisp, to get those plays actually going if they are going to handle BaiSha.
Ooh, and he got spin then. Ooh, that's a great shot. My goodness. Man, like, I love how composed he is. He doesn't even, like, react. He's just like, nope, I'm dialed in. And like you said, if he can hit some shots, this is possible, because you still have AG.AL that's kind of on the big flank here, but he's just kind of hovering. This is the right thing that he should be doing, because if he kind of pushes through, DOO has a world where he could be able to take him out. So now Leah, ooh, shots. Oh! Oh, man. Okay, this is why he was the MVP. But, man, AG.AL will get the better of him. But one more second, if he makes that across, that could have been up at all for a coin toss.
Yeah, they're very pumped on the side of AG.AL, or on the side of BaiSha, rather, after AG.AL's performance at the very end of that round, is able to get this quick scope in the sniper duel. And that's really what's been highlighted so often, especially in CROSSFIRE, is the sniper duel between many a team.
Yeah, both these guys have just been giants, and now ZY just brings a pistol to it. Don't even need a sniper, don't even need a rifle. And now DOO gets himself a nice, interesting kill. As 577 was like, all right, I don't want to wait any longer. I'm going to go for aggression. And look at how fast that AG.AL are able to bounce back into this. One player has taken damage, and they have just been loading the kill feed. And BaiSha do find something with 9 here, but it's short-lived. Right back into this game. They put matters back into their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. That's more of what I'm expecting from the side of AG.AL. A quick hit that does come through the hotel into that B site. They weren't able to handle that much pressure. And that's what you got to do, you know. AG.AL, I think, especially from the Blacklist side of Eagle-Eye, you got to mix it up. It can't just be some of these plain hits that we have seen, these executions onto the site. You have to have a lot up your sleeve on this one, as we are going to have a faster hit once again. Flashes come forward, and DOO's good for it. Helps out his teammate up there, but 9. And 9 just not going to be rooted out. And Lie picks up one there. It makes this defense much, much better. They did not expect another guy over here on the left.
Well, here we go again. DOO on a clutch. Yep, easy one. Okay, so now he's been able to find 1, but now he has to find 2. So he still has to pick up that C4-9. Ooh, 999. Oh, my. DOO, what are you doing? Oh, he's just not ready for it.
Yeah, I think he didn't see him. Gets ahead of the flash, but N9 very smartly backs off of that, because he knows that DO is going to, like, based on his position, is going to try to push that.
Yeah.
So he backs away and says, all right, buddy. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, you can have it. It's fine. It's fine. Well, again, a minute and 24, so this does allow him time. Again, he could try to go for the plant here, but again, this is where he could even just reposition. He could even try to go through the side hole towards B if he chooses. But again, he has no idea where people are. He only knows that 9 was kind of sitting around in that, like, you know, long position, but he could be anywhere now, right? So this is a complete bit of a guess. You're playing a little bit of where's Waldo, but BaiSha or Waldo. So this is where he has no idea, but he is going to commit to the plant. Do you stay in this high position, or do you want to drop down? Oh, he will. Okay. Well, I'm not even against this, but if he misses his shots, that's where this might be disastrous.
Yeah, he's going to try to make it maybe all the way to the long angle, but Xiao was waiting, and it didn't matter. Xiao goes down, and now all of a sudden, he's going to swap over to the rifle, finds N9, and N9 doesn't have that much time, but he's just going to stick it.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's just got it.
What? Oh.
He's just got it. No, he just sticks it. And bro's so fake. He just sticks. He goes up the stairs. No util. He holds his button on the bomb.
Oh, yeah, and it's tough, right? Because like now it's easy for us to argue like, oh, well, DOO could have easily planted on the side of the pillar. He could have been able to put that a little bit more open, but he didn't. Again, he had no idea where those players were, so there's not a chance that he could have done that without putting a lot of risk into it. But like we said, he goes for that duel, he misses any shot. N9, it was pretty much an easy little bit of a defuse, but tough pill for AG to be able to swallow because they pretty much had that one, and I feel like DOO really did have himself in the best position in the world, but unfortunately just missing that shot with the rifle just allowed that extra space needed.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for him. He almost gets the clutch. He almost got the clutch earlier in the previous round, and then he tries to go for a play up against Xiao, and he loses that one too. So all of a sudden, it feels like DOO is kind of in an awkward and frustrating spot. And maybe that's enough momentum to get BaiSha some more of these early rounds in the map. And, you know, we can all have our favorites and think about, you know, where the momentum's going. But at the end of the day, we got to see how it's actually going to play out. And maybe BaiSha can just get enough momentum going to actually take this map down and take down AG.AL. A big mid push actually coming in here from all 4 members. They're just going to flash their way in. Ooh. And force this, but YDSS has the angle. Doesn't matter. ZY also going to take down Xiao on the back of that B site, and all of a sudden, B is wide open.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, again, that was a good way for them just to be able to put like a bit of a brute force on that, right? Like they just play as a full unit. They just go for those quick little bit of trades. I like that a lot. BaiSha were not expecting this at all. And look at this aggression even from ZQ, but it doesn't benefit, but at least he got a bit of intel saying, look, there's for sure a player in Hotel. Keep your eyesight. And I was going to say, I think N9's about to run past somebody, but the trades are still happening and everybody's down. So unfortunately for AG.AL, they weren't really in the best post plans. Like it seemed like one player's going really far away, then everybody's kind of extending a little bit. So I think there was a little bit of maybe a misunderstanding of what they wanted to do.
Yeah, not the best post-plan setup from them, and I think that they just kind of got caught trying to get into a weird spot that was a bit uncontested or unexpected. And unfortunately, they just got ran right into by N9 and the rest of the guys. So things look pretty good for the side of BaiSha so far. And AG.AL going fast once again. I mean, this is definitely a fast pace that they are playing with. They're not sitting back, looking for picks, doing all this and that, and hoping that BaiSha get aggressive. They are just the ones on the side of the blacklist that are just trying to put on the pressure themselves. We haven't seen another hit onto A just yet in the last couple of rounds, maybe because of some of their lack of success earlier on. And I think at a certain point, I'd actually consider a timeout soon, but we'll see as they're going to force their way in. The flash is very good. They isolate one. The entry from the side of 1-2-2 is pretty good as they try to swarm onto the stairs, but they just use the stairs for protection. ZQ stays alive until the very end, but he's alone now up against a full health 577 who is already wrapped around.
Yeah, but does he actually expect this, though? It seems like he has the full read, and he was kind of, again, just like checking his 6 like every single time. He's like, I think he's going to be here. And now you can see that he's just trying to play the mind game, making it seem like he ran all the way to the other site and making 577 kind of, again, recollect his thoughts and kind of, you know, second guess himself maybe, and he can catch something on a bit of a rotate. He has the time. Why not? You need to do something. This is now where the 1v1's becoming a big, you know, puzzle, a bit of a mind game. This is where you just try to find any sort of an opening, and now he finally gets his footing into this. And he realizes he can't find the rotator, so 577 is going to get the Q. Okay, so here we go again with the same plant spot. This time for ZQ's sake. Hopefully he took a quick lesson from his AG.AL not to play maybe that far deep. And this time he's going to post up in window.
Yeah, definitely a better spot, especially when you're holding the rifle. And not sure if he got the info there. Now he's going to get it, and 577 just locks it down and sits him down. A lot of big cheers from the side of BaiSha.
Yeah, they're loud.
They're getting really excited. I mean, you could just feel it. It's in the air. Like, they have so much momentum right now. So many of these early pushes. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that AG.AL have prepped coming into this match for Eagle-Eye just going astray and not really finding much value. Very nice shot here from 577. That's his mouse hand. Like,
yeah, it's like,
be careful with that one. I don't know.
You gotta let him diffuse first, man. Like, I get it. Like, look, there was a lot of time, but I'm like, still, like, just let him do his thing and then get pumped up a little bit. I get it. Oh man, but yeah, this has been tough because I think out of the 4 rounds that we see for BaiSha, like 2 of those have been clutches. So like it is, those scrappy rounds that could go either way. So. But nonetheless, I mean, we talk about it. A round win is going to be a round win here for the quarterfinals. And BaiSha now with a really nice lead. And it's kind of, frustrating, I'm sure, for DOO too, because considering he's playing so well and like he's calling and he's also hitting his shots, he's doing all the right things he needs. But they just need a little bit of that extra 10% just to get something moving in their favor.
Yeah, you can see him talking right now. He's trying to figure out exactly how he wants to play this one. And, I was saying that AG.AL, they were playing very fast and loose, going for pretty quick hits onto a lot of the different sites. Well, the 2 that are available. And now they've really slowed it down. Just trying to back off a little bit. That need is going to be some nice damage on a DOO. And we do have 4 members looking to push A, it looks like. With DOO just going to flash over the top and maybe join up a little bit later or catch the flanker. As Lie gets the first kill, but they are pushing him pretty nicely. Going to isolate the guy in the corner. Dre able to get it. And even Chow in mid going to go down. And do they know where N9 is? I mean, he's behind them. That's 2 kills. And it looks like he knows where DOO is as well. As the plant comes in, N9 trying to get an angle here to take some 1v1s. And DOO is actually pushed all the way through mid, as it's not going to go this time for N9. And AG.AL are back on the board.
Yeah, I was thinking, for N9, he's going to be able to have himself a bit of a field day on that. I'm like, he was like right there in the lines, and he's just like posted up, and I was like, okay, like he might be able to find himself a triple kill. But like you said, he knew where DOO was, and the fact that it was just that duel against CQ is the more challenging one. But good work from him, being able to react to it. So AG do survive. A bit of a threat here from BaiSha once again. So that position of taking this half is still actually open, right? I mean, there is a world we could see AG being able to find, the last couple rounds here and then making this a 5-4. Which honestly, if that did happen, like, that'd be more than impressive considering how this game's been going. And BaiSha, kind of a bit of an awkward fight through such a tight corridor. They back off on it. They realize not worth it. 577 has taken way too much damage from this attack. And look at that reposition one more time at 1-1-3, essentially, what they've done. But they keep, I think that's YDSS. He's kind of the one that's playing very aggressive on bridge. So a lot of interesting movement here from the defense of BaiSha.
Yeah, he actually jumped off the bridge. I thought, is he really going to push that smoke? But he actually just goes up into the hotel. Dio wins the sniper duel. Very long angle there. Looks like he hopped up onto the boxes, onto the wall potentially, and just went for that aggressive angle and takes him down. So that's pretty nice. You can tell he's really on his game here for map number 3. Map 2 was a lot about ZY, and then eventually some of the other guys began to follow up. Dio also had a pretty good map 2. And now he's just putting up the numbers essentially on this one. They peek into N9 immediately, who does not have any support here in mid, of course. As the smoke is good, actually, for the follow-up. They're just going to push through it, though, as YDSS gets taken down. And they should be able to get this easy plant in on the B site.
Yeah, nicely done. And I agree with you. Like, I think it was the desk, that talked about this with, DOO. And The thing that was so impressive, and I mean, I actually, it's kind of like burned in my brain, is like watching AG.AL winning last year, and like just watching DOO winning the MVP, and like there was so much emotion because you could tell like all the work he put into it. The team was going through a ton of stuff. He was going through a ton of stuff. So the fact that we're seeing him now stepping up when they really need him is such a beautiful sight to see, right? I mean, for any AG.AL fans, like that's where you're just like, look, like again, why he was MVP last year, again, why he's like one of those top players that we talk about, worldwide, and now he's finally just, outdueling everybody, which is something a team needs, especially when your captain's the one doing it.
Yeah. I feel like he was always good, but after last year, he kind of reached a new level of greatness.
Yeah.
It's a really cool story to follow with DOL. And, maybe he can push his team across the line. Like, I was getting worried when it was just BaiSha 4-1, but now we got a game on our hands. As they see YDSS, that's free pickings right behind the wall. Just one flash, and they do make their way in. They're isolating some of these picks. They kind of know where they're playing as N9 gets one, and the swarm comes in from BaiSha, but Lie is going to go down. And Duke came in from mid and actually gets that one kill onto Lie, as now that's going to be the cleanup here. AG.AL 3 rounds in a row, and we've got ourselves a map.
Man, we got ourselves a map indeed, and that's where I was saying, like, for BaiSha not being able to find that clutch, a little bit earlier on, like, not being able to solidify that 5th round, and, like, this position for the first half is still open for both these teams now. So if AG.AL can be able to, close this last round out, move things over onto the GR side, that is going to feel very good. But at least for BaiSha's sake, they're able to respond back a little bit here. They find something, but it's short-lived. A 4-4 still will be on the playing cards here. And now for AG.AL, they're going to have to pull back a little bit. They're going to just make sure nobody's, being a bit of a pest. Nobody's going for these big flanks or anything like that. And it's good work from AG.AL. Just, again, there's no need for him to do that. That would just be, again, really risky. I don't even want to say careless, but maybe borderline could get there. But they're going to switch up this composition, the 1-2-1. And how do AG want to approach this? We saw them do this mid-quarter before, where they just, all 4 of them, just took it with a lot of grace. But that's why I think BaiSha are kind of double propped up on it, or were at least.
You see Dio spots Lee, and he just gives that information over to his team, essentially, and says, okay, how do we want to go for this? Because if he's up top on the sniper, it's usually just him and maybe one more. But as we know, based on the minimap, it is just him. So maybe you just wait a little bit and hit A once again, especially with the long angles. Or you just peek Xiao in the window of Hotel and take him down. He is just unstoppable right now, and he spots N9 too, so, yeah. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of people on A.
No, that's the thing. Like,
just go A.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows that. So now it puts YDSS in a bit of a bind here, because he has to be able to get this kill. But look at that. They just read him easily. They find him, and now Lie is going to have to do something big. Does find himself that double kill. Okay, things get a little bit interesting, but DOO once again finding himself another kill, sitting at 13-3. 9, though, quick on the heels. And now he's ready to fight. The AG.AL here, a 1-on-1 duel. ZQ just taking tons of damage. And it's all about just hitting one last shot here for BaiSha, and they can have themselves secured in this first half. But 9, he hasn't been able to be the clutch factor fully yet. Can he do it here and now? And indeed he will.
Oh, that was beautiful from N9. He got the jump on a 1, and the second he makes it into a 1v1, he just controls it so well. Like, the areas he was checking to just get information on, okay, it was like an elimination game for him. He's like, okay, well, I've checked left. He's not up the stairs. He's not under the stairs. And then he goes up the box, and he's like, well, he's not on top, so he has to be behind on the right. And he like checks all the boxes. It's a masterpiece from N9, and that's why he's one of the best. And just makes it look so easy in the 1v2. So that's going to be advantage here to BaiSha, but still a very close map after AG.AL's come back in the last bunch of rounds.
Yeah, still open for anybody here. But now it's going to be a little bit of a pinch, and YDSS trying to get something done through this mid door. 1-2-2-2, I should say, actually. It's a lot of Ys, because you can't really be able to find more than that one. And now it leaves for BaiSha to be able to have this site control for the time being. And now leaving AG.AL for a long little bit of a retake on this one. They are actually going to double up, though, thankfully, and they do have ZY with a lot of utility. But I feel like once you burn that util, like they're going to know you're there. But there is that little bit of a shot. Presence is somewhat aware. Suspicion, the cautions is now being raised.
Yeah, and still no plant. Taking them quite a while to get this bomb on the ground. And they're not even going to go for it. It might be something that N9 is calling it. Okay, they're going to go for it now. They said, okay, no push is going to come in early from ZQ and ZY, and you always got to be careful with these two, as they are going to group up quite a little bit. I say that, though, and ZQ pushes forward. ZY gets that first kill, but N9 immediately is going to go down. They knew he was there, but they can't get the kill. As now ZQ's got to get a move on. Ooh. He gets that shot through the box. Makes this a 1v1. Jumps up the top, but no, Xiao. Only his 4th kill so far in round 10, but it's a very important one.
Oh, man. I was just going to say, like, for ZQ, I was thinking this is going to be, like, just him just popping off and, again, just showcasing why we were talking so much about him and being one of the best players and so close to being able to find that clutch. And he did everything, honestly, really, really well. But like you said, Zhao's just able to get himself in a slightly better position and just winning that duel. So, okay. Now, BaiSha get themselves 2 rounds in a row. That comfort slowly getting a little bit bigger now, and they're just going to try to push through Hotel. ZY, I don't know if you'll expect it. He will not. And now, I think this one player in Hotel has definitely made a lot of noise, so everybody knows. Do you want to, flush this player out, or do you want to just kind of ignore them? It seems like they want to just take this from both angles. I don't blame them. Just remove that threat as much as possible. There we go, and it's clean. Not even losing a single player in this approach. They don't even have to commit to this if they don't want, but they are going to commit to it now.
Yeah, I mean, they're already on the site. This is just a beautiful play from the side of BaiSha. I love how quickly they hit this, and they got in before it looked like AG.AL were even set up, and they're going to have a timeout after this, after a round that we just saw, and I think that's a good idea. As N9's right there for the 1, 577's playing the wall. He waits until the last moment, although this is getting pretty interesting. Dio now in the 1v2, and he has some time. Gets the drop, and oh, he misses the shot, but he gets the pistol. Half. The timer is down. Is he? No, he's just going to tap it. He has no idea where this player is, and YDSS drops down. Nicely played from him. Barely holds on. These rounds are crazy. That looks like a done deal for BaiSha, but wow, it got interesting at the end.
It really, really did. And that's the thing, too. It's like really good clutch factor from BaiSha right now, too. And I love that reposition because, again, DOO had no idea, but the fact that he just jumps over the wall, goes into the little train, and then just repositions himself, like that was perfect, right? And that's the thing. Like, I think BaiSha have been getting away with some sneaky little bit of plays that's really just, again, kind of put them in this lead, but it's frustrating when you're AG.AL because, again, these are grindy rounds. Like, this isn't just like BaiSha like blowing them out of the water like map number 1 where we were like, man, they're just winning rounds, like all 5 players alive, like barely taking any damage. Like, these are right down to those nitty-gritty situations, and it's like those like fine details that we talk about, and that's where these teams, again, where we keep emphasizing the importance of it, just how many times they played each other and all these things that they know and all the tendencies. It's just crazy. That's what makes it so like technical to watch, and what I love about it too, right? It's just because there's like they just know. Like, it's just, I think you used the best analogy yesterday. It's kind of like, in chess when there's like grandmasters and they just like know all the single plays, but then there's these like little moves that can happen, and then you just get like, man, like that's so annoying because I know that can happen. I know that can be a thing, and that's what I was just thinking of there. I'm like, this is where AG.AL are probably just kicking themselves a little bit too.
Yeah, they definitely are. You can see how this got close because Dre got in and actually cleared out the site, and that allowed DOO to push in and get the drop on the Xiao. So, there was actually a chance for AG.AL to make that happen, even though they had lost 2 members. They had given up the entirety of the B site, and it didn't really matter. They got really close. They didn't win in the end, though, as BaiSha do have a lot of momentum at this point. 3 rounds in a row. It's a good time to call that pause. And BaiSha, though, their blacklist side, I think, it looked great on New Compound. And once again, to me, it's been very impressive here on this map. So, I think if you're going to be that good at this one side against AG.AL, who have not been able to stop them at all, on multiple different maps, it's going to feel great.
Yeah, and I was just even kind of reminiscing a little bit about last year too. Like, I mean, this is where BaiSha were the team where they were winning so many different tournaments. Like we were talking about, they were able to get like ACL, they were able to get CFPL, they were able to get, second place at, last year's EWC, and then they're again able to just put themselves in another winning category for the CFPL. So this is a team that's just been a lot of that like top 2 conversation for a number of years. So it's a great thing to see. And that's where, again, like when they play AG, it seems to be just this very back and forth affair. And that's where we just talk about the history books so much. But now, good damage, and BaiSha taking a ton of beating. My goodness, Wei's been very quiet this game, but now he starts to just pop alive, and now he's starting to make some action happen, and there we go. Okay, AG respond back in beautiful fashion, in a much-needed fashion.
Yeah, you were just saying how it's always such a back and forth affair between these two teams. I think you really just never know. Like, the only time I felt very confident that a map was going to go a certain way was when AG were up 9-3 on Ankara. That's when I was like, okay, I think we know they're going to win this one. It's going to happen. We've got it. But every other time, it's like you just never know. Like, BaiSha will come back, AG will come back. It's crazy because they take one pause and then they just absolutely wipe them. Obviously, some really nice shots from Dway. And I think that his position was a bit more forward than they were expecting, and they kind of got a little panicked there, and they didn't really handle it very well. But still, it's a good look from Dway, and it gives AG.AL a breath of fresh air after what has been some suffocation. So...
yeah, especially for a player like him too, like where I just feel like he's been pretty quiet. Like again, that puts him now at 12-10, but like it just feels like he wasn't really showing the impact that what he was doing on map 1 and 2. So it's just, and that's always the conversation you have too, right? Like these have been long days, a lot of long games. Like it's not easy. Like you definitely have to talk about the energy and exerting all that energy. So when you're having someone perform that well, it always begs a lot of questions. But now here again, I talk about his name. He seems to be the boogeyman or something, because now he's starting to get some good kills. There's ZY being able to find it as well. This kill feed is just back and forth and back and forth. And now Lie's the last one. And okay, AG.AL seem to have found something. And I don't know what they whispered in his ear, but man, he is reformed. He's just turned into like he's evolved. Like I don't get it.
You say whispered in his ear. I mean, Coach Dono was yelling at him.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't whispering.
He was like, guys, come on. This is not us. We are so much better than this. What are you doing? Like, that was my read on how he was talking to them, especially to 1222, by the way, who was kind of on the edge, taking a little bit of a, yeah, he was not having fun, let's just say. And it has worked. A little bit of a pep talk from the coach, and all of a sudden, we've got them right back on the board. It does feel like for, outside of Ankara, obviously, it has been the BaiSha show. But AG.AL, they're not going to go down without a fight. It means so much to this squad. Like, it would be so strange just to have either of these teams out in quarterfinals. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But AG.AL, like the former winners at EWC last year, just to go out and essentially, 5th to 8th place is going to feel rough. So there's that. There's a club championship for this entire organization. They've done so much work. They're trying desperately to fight with Falcons, and Falcons have dropped out. You really need to pull in some points from CROSSFIRE, let's just say. And they need to get across BaiSha first. It's no easy feat. And you can see that BaiSha, after a couple of rounds that don't go their way, they're just kind of resetting right now. They're slowing things down, not allowing AG to feel the momentum pulling in their direction just yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even just the fact that we talk about the club championships and everything right that, like that's where for AG.AL, like there's just that extra little bit of pressure for these guys too, just being defending champs and just being able to build any sort of points goes a long way here. But now I was going to say it, for 9, I thought he was going to go for this fight. He does, and he actually finds the one. Can he be able to find the second? He's doing a ton of damage right now on his own. He's just trying to put all the matters into his own hands, and look at that. Clean bit of a sweep here. ZQ does go for the swing by himself, but it's going to be just short-lived of a dream, because now BaiSha putting themselves on 8. So now this thing is getting closer and closer to the end point, and now the biggest question is, can AG be able to find something? Can they find the NOS? Can they find the turbo to get something back in this game?
Yeah, they're going to need it at this point to catch up, because it was a couple of rounds that looked good, but also a couple of rounds that ended very quickly, it felt like, where BaiSha, they go for pushes, they get shut down, but there's not really a lot of development. And I really like how BaiSha played that round tempo-wise. They just were kind of waiting for a minute and a half, and AG were like, well, we don't really have any idea where they're coming in. Not a lot of information was gathered, and the push that time was clean. So if I'm BaiSha, I'd probably just stick to the same. It's getting late in the day. Both these teams have been around now for a while, and just trying to control the pace, I think, can earn you a lot here when it's such a important match.
Yeah, and for BaiSha, I mean, this is where, again, burning that last minute and 33 here remaining on the timer. Good nade that gets caught a little bit against 9. Another nade going to get thrown here from AG. Nothing going to connect for this one, though. And this defense leaving it very lightly defended here on the B side. And now 9 should be able to free kill. He gets away with it. He dances around some bullets. He does take some damage, don't get me wrong, but gets another life on this. So he can count his lucky stars a little bit on this one, and now he's going to go for the full rotate around, and BaiSha have to do something big now, and that minute mark has been made. And look at AG. They're actually going to try to pop through mid. They're going to try to cause a little bit of a ruckus. They're going to try to ruffle some feathers if they can, but unfortunately for them, it ain't going to happen. It does go a little bit back and forth, creates the 2-2 now. And now you can see Jouet has actually repositioned himself deep into long. Oh, he's tucked away in the corner. They might not clear it. Oh, that is so filthy. That is so cheeky. And now he can just run for the hills.
Yeah, Jouet has had a tumultuous round here. He was poking out of A-Long, went all the way around, got the sniper, and then he gets that kill on the shout. Now Lia in the mid. He is going to be spotted here as an 8 even goes over the top. Has the bomb, though, so an angle here kind of spots Jouet. He can get a plant. He's just going to plant fast and try to get away with it. But here come the cavalry, and that is going to be AG.AL coming in, picking up another round, making it close once again.
Yeah, that's a tough position for him to be in, too, because, again, he threw that smoke so deep on the stairway. And, I mean, you could argue he could have threw it behind him, but then how do you know that they're not going to swing on the front side of stairs like that, right? So, really, his options are very, very limited. But I like the fact that AG actually just put a lot of pressure on this. They don't, take any time to go for the retake. They're just like, nope, we have to go. He has limited time to plant. We're just going to fight for this right away. He's not going to have a strong position. So good work from them. And honestly, Jouet has just turned things around. I mean, again, like a guy that was in the hard negatives in the numbers, and now look at him. He's sitting at a 16-11. He's top fragging with his captain of DOO. Absolutely beautiful thing to see.
Yeah. And we have that little graphic you can see on the right where I was just talking about how much this means to AG.AL. They are fighting tooth and nail just to get through BaiSha, just to gather a little bit more points from CROSSFIRE. They really need to, though, because Team Falcons, even though they're out of CROSSFIRE, they have other teams in the other games here in the final week of EWC 2026 that are already doing quite well, as we've had some updates across the day. So AG.AL need this. There's really no other way to put it. But BaiSha aren't going to let them have it, as we've seen. And BaiSha here from Blacklist, I mentioned, this has been the most impressive part to me. I think they've prepped really nicely for their Blacklist specifically today. And now coming on in, Jouet landing some big shots. That's a couple of kills all of a sudden, as he's going to swing big time and get taken down. But spots the last 2 members, so that gives some huge information. 1-2-2-2 comes in, and DO finishes it off. It's all tied up at 8. Anyone can win now.
Wow, this thing is just, again, just the tight little bit of a knot on this one. I was thinking it was looking a little bit loose originally, but AG figuring out the best way to get it done, and now we're back to a tie game scenario. And now they're going to use this here, BaiSha. They're going to have the tactical timeout. And rightfully so. I mean, this is where you had that lead. That's where you kind of let it slip again. A little bit of slippery waters for these guys. So now this is, again, the biggest question. 2 rounds needed to close this thing out, or we push this thing to another overtime here for the final map. This is a tough one. And I mean, I don't even feel like BaiSha are really calling anything wrong. I feel like, again, it just feels like AG are really reacting properly to these executions, and they're just finding it, some good kills that just kind of stuns them a little bit, if that makes sense, and then they're just kind of, again, trying to refight for some control. So it's not even like BaiSha are making any drastic mistakes, in my opinion. Oh, he's Remember when I said whispering? I mean, well, that's not a thing.
Maybe
so.
you were being sarcastic, you know?
Yeah, I was being a little facetious. Yeah, just you know, being a little funny, you know, but. It's good though, right? And this is where everything's so the tensions are so high. Like again, this is where the IGLs and the coaches are going to just be like absolutely getting as much information as you can in that minute and 30. You're just like, hey, look, we got a lot to talk about, you guys.
Even YDSS is like, they're doing this, they're doing that. We gotta be here and there, and like, it's a minute and a half that you have an attack pause. It's not a lot of time. Because you just know that after a match like this, win or lose, like you're going back to the clubhouse or the hotel or whatever, and you're watching the VODs and you're going, like, you could go over this for 4 hours. Like a minute and a half is not enough. But obviously that's all you have. So BaiSha, let's see if the attack pause helps them out. They, you know, it's been a bunch of rounds that AG.AL have slowly clawed back to make this anybody's map at this point. Even though they had an impressive blacklist, even though they had a lot of momentum, it's not going to matter if they lose from here.
And now you just leave it here for one player to anchor this here. That's going to be ZY. And again, ZQ is close, but not close enough maybe. And look at that. The trades go back and forth. Nine's going to be able to find himself that instant. So now for AG, they might just have to give this up. They might have to just go for the retakes. But again, they have to worry about AG.AL. He's actually all the way back. He's going to go all the way through Banana. I thought he might have tried to cut through in mid, but instead he will play with his team this time around. The plant's going to come down. And does he want to leave Hotel? He's trying to just eliminate any sort of other options for any sort of a flank here. But now Nine's going to have to do something big. And he absolutely does. He finds himself the double. Why not make it a triple?
That is leading by example right there. He locks in when they need him most. And you can see him like he's leading an army. He's got his arms up in the air after a play like that. He does not want to go home just yet. He doesn't care about AG.AL's chances in the club championship. He cares about BaiSha's chances here at EWC as a CROSSFIRE team. And now they're just one round away. It's been such a close affair. And I would not be surprised if AG.AL tie this up or if BaiSha win. It could go either way. ZQ, he gets the info. He's been playing Hotel all day. What's he going to do? Looks like he's going to sit back there. He's got ZY helping him. And even 1-2-2-2 has made his way over. It looks, you know, this has been a lot of what BaiSha's doing in the last 2 or 3 rounds or so, is just kind of hanging around outside a Hotel. So I don't mind this at all, trying to get an extra guy over to deal with the pressure.
Oh, I thought the nade was going to... Wow, I can't believe that didn't even land. I was thinking that looked like it landed right on top of his head, but no. So he gets himself a saving grace here for the moment, and now a big swing, and now BaiSha does find themselves that opening duel, but there is still 1-2-2-2 that's able to do something. A reposition, and now BaiSha decides if they want to commit to this or not. Reconfigure the game plan maybe, and it seems like they may. But look at AG. They're just actually going to go for a full rotate back. They're thinking that BaiSha have now made a decision just to go for the A-take. This could be an opening that BaiSha needs. They're taking so much time on this, though. A minute remaining. They're going to need to get a move on if they want to get this free site.
Yeah, this is going to get pretty interesting. I do like how they've left ZQ back in spawn just in case, right? And the read is that, okay, they're going to rotate to A. It's been a lot of what BaiSha have been doing. Hits on one part of the map, rotating out. But a push up here from Dway, and there's only 38 seconds, so, you know, immediately a second guy goes over to B. And now they're ready for it. 1-2-2-2 does pick up the 1. Can he pick up the 2? It's actually a late rotate out here from BaiSha. They're going A.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, they have time. They have time, but they got to go now. They cannot mess around. They have to just, again, hightail this. You have to just accelerate as fast as you can. It's a free site. This is a perfect little bit of a plan from them. They go through long. This is going to guarantee them the plant, but they have to get it done here and now. AG realizing, okay, I cannot believe they went all the way around with 5 seconds to spare. And now 9 being able to be a little bit cheeky, but ZQ finds the better of them. Now players are dropping like flies. Does AG have it in them?
I can't believe 9 wasn't able to get anything done there. As now the retake's coming in. Dio goes in by himself. The timing is off. YDSS gets 2. ZQ will go down, and BaiSha knock AG.AL out. They take the best of 3. and they will move on to the semifinals.
Oh my goodness. Even gods can bleed here, and AG.AL fall down, and history is now being rewritten in the stones, and BaiSha